Still I ask myself, are we in our game? It's not logical, but you contemplate, are we am I?
If Sheldon Keefe named Samsonov the starter for Game 5, you fire him. You fire him and do it yourself. Brendan Shanahan and Brad Treliving, like, they've been around the NHL for long enough that, oh, no, you're actually a crazy person. You're fired. And we'll try to coach the game ourselves. It couldn't go much worse than it's been going. You try to do it yourself if he tries to name him the Game 5 starter. He's not going to unless Joseph Woll gets hurt. Ilya Samsonov has played his final game in a Leaf uniform. It's done. It's over. Unless Joseph Woll gets hurt in, I don't know, next game, or the Leafs magically come back and they win this series. It wouldn't be the first time that the Boston Bruins blew a 3-1 series lead. If Joseph Woll can carry the team later into the playoffs, deeper into the playoffs, this is still Ilya Samsonov's final game as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, unless someone gets hurt. You can't go back to him. You pulled him for the third period. It's over. It's over. I was willing to see how it goes. He was really, really solid in, well, not the whole of Game 2, but the second and third period of Game 2. You need a save. You need a save. You need a save. He's a gem. He's a great guy. I think he'd be a great person to have on Facebook. I really do. Like, I think he's a wonderful human being. You don't know what you're getting. Game in, game out. Period in, period out. Shot in, shot out. You need a save. Teams make mistakes. Teams blow it. Teams do that all the time. You need saves. The Leafs teams that so many of you watching this right now, growing up, had goalies who gave them saves. Go back and watch. I promise you, go back and watch Curtis Joseph with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You'll think that the Leafs were the worst defensive team in the entire world, and they might have been. That dude pulled off miracle after miracle after miracle. Ed Belfour, that guy stole games. Freddie Anderson, great to see him. Just great seeing him doing so well in Carolina. It just tickles me, Greg. That dude stole games for the Leafs and cost them games. Dude, you know who stole games for the Leafs? Stole games for the Leafs? Ilya Samsonov. Last year. He stole games for this team. He stole them. Go watch the highlights for Game 6 against Tampa. That game shouldn't have made it to overtime, let alone the Leafs took a lead into the third period. Tampa scored 1. The Leafs got lucky over and over and over again in overtime, and Tavares gets one that goes in off a skate! They won that by the skin of their teeth, but they won it! Gosh darn it, they won! It's not the same goalie. It's just not. You can't re-sign this person. I know that's an off-season discussion. You cannot re-sign this goalie. You have no idea who or what you're getting on a nightly basis. You can't do it. There are so many other goalies. You got to go after one of those guys. And even if they can't give you Sammy's high end, you got to keep them above the low. They have no shot to win these games. No shot to win these games. Steve, when are you going to talk about the now? Even though Sammy's not giving them the best goaltending, the power play is a big part of the discussion, but forget the power play. The power play was horrible in this game again, cost them the game again. They don't score ever. Forget the power play. Whoa, now, why are we picking on the power play? They don't score at all! From Jonas Siegel, and I'm going to read this in reverse order. Goals for the Leafs in their last 11 playoff games. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 3. Wow! 2 and 1. You know what's crazy about that? The Leafs went 7 straight games with only 2 goals in a playoff game. And over their next 4 games, that average dropped. Does toughness appear to be the problem for the Leafs this year? I don't think so. They're playing with snot. Unfortunately, the dude in charge of the snot is giving away pucks for the first goal of the game. Snot helping the team win. They can't score. They can't score. They can't score. Marner and Matthews arguing with each other on the bench. Then they show William Nylander on the bench. I don't know who he was talking to in this clip, but he said, "Stop crying, bro." And then he either said, "This isn't junior," or "Just shoot it." Marner.
Are we alive? I don't know. Are we? Yeah, we're here. Hey, guys. Hi, everybody. What's going on? We're all here. Look at this, a Vancouver game at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Toronto time. So it's 2 o'clock Pacific. This is weird. The playoffs are weird. The timing's weird, but it's nice that you're here. And honestly, I'm still getting over the heartbreak last night being a Leafs fan. We got a, we got a doozy of a podcast for you coming out today. It's wild. Everything that Steve's LFR was, it's that and more. But, here's what we're here to do. We're not here to talk about the Leafs. We're here to talk about the Vancouver Canucks, who, I don't know if you're watching the feeds right now, the Vancouver-Nashville game is just kicking off on Sportsnet Pacific, which is excellent. I've been watching this Winnipeg, Colorado game, and I actually can't believe what's been going on. That's crazy what's happening. Strangely enough, I'm watching on my Sportsnet Plus channel, and it said tune into Vancouver and Nashville, and it keeps showing me Winnipeg, Colorado, which is very weird. I'm hoping the game doesn't start without me. Guys, there it is. Okay, so we got a new starting goaltender. For the third straight game, Vancouver's starting a new guy. And let's be honest, Vancouver fans a little anxious about it. Silovs, he was the guy that backed up Casey DeSmith. What's weird about this one is, I guess, Casey DeSmith hurt his hand, but he didn't hurt it in the game. Okay. And then, and this is where it gets a little bit strange. They're saying if it was any other time, he might actually be able to play through it. And my question is, okay, fair, but if he could play through it, why doesn't he? And I guess Artur Silovs is kind of feeling like, okay, I can come in and I can do this. And I'm just going to run you through some of his stats. I'm pulling it up here on my computer. He played 4 games this year in the NHL, 881 save percentage. Don't love that. 247 goals against average. Don't love that. Here's the thing, though. It's a 274 goals against average in Abbotsford, but it doesn't matter as much. 907 save percentage at the AHL levels, which is what he has, isn't bad. All you need today, if you're a Canucks fan, is you need some serious, and I'm just going to play with my microphone settings here. You need serious, just average goaltending. That's what you need. You got outshot like crazy last game, and that's okay because you still won, which is awesome. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, you score that many goals, you drop that many goals on UC Saros in the last game. You only get 12 shots. The one thing that I think the Vancouver Canucks need to focus on, and their fans and your fans, and by the way, today I'm a Vancouver Canuck fan. The focus needs to be on breaking this stranglehold that Nashville has on this series. Like, we've been making jokes about it. It's not been that exciting. It's not been that much fun. But the Canucks have got it done. Got to respect that. There's a bit of a talent gap here. We know Nashville's just not a great team. We just know that. I mean, compared to the Canucks. And I think Preds fans, you can admit that. I think what's going to be interesting here is seeing what the Predators do, seeing what the Canucks do. Can the Canucks go up 3-1? And can they actually get up over like 25 shots? Which I don't even think they've done in this series. I'm going to check in with the chat here. Adam Wylde, are you a Canucks fan? I can't tell if you're a Leafs fan. You should stream with Steve Dangle. No. That's Steve's stream. Listen, I've been anti-Nashville Predators all season by accident. So I am pro Canucks and anti-Nashville Predators because they're evil. Because they basically reinforce the fact that by not going to the Sphere to see U2, that you can be a better hockey team. And that's wrong. James Stemler, you getting booed in BP for mentioning Vancouver on the Bowmanville pod was jokes. Come on, guys. What happened to cheering for every Canadian team? Exactly. In fact, James is right. That's what Boston Peach is trying to encourage. We're trying to bring it home. How are we feeling about Silovs? How are we feeling? Vancouver fans, I need to know. Nashville fans, are you excited? I'm sorry, I'm just getting used to this microphone, and I got to make sure that I'm going to switch the settings up. Is that better? That feels better. You can hear me better now, right? Yeah. All right. Hey, no roids, just rage. Adam, who will you be streaming if the Canucks lose this series? Well, they're not going to, so I don't have to think about it, do I? I'm glad I'm not streaming the Edmonton Oilers game. Why is the Edmonton Oilers game starting at 9 o'clock Edmonton time? What's up with that? Like, I love the staggered starts, but 9 o'clock? Yeah, that's an 8 o'clock start in Vancouver? That's late, man. That's really late. That sucks. I agree with you, Adam. They were a good team already. The Sphere thing is overblown. Exactly. Thank you. And now they must go down for it. Now they must lose. That's the way it's got to be. We're looking at Per Edlundon. Silovs for the shutout, 100%. This guy has a statue. Brenton Slofsky. This guy has a statue in Latvia for a reason, I believe. Okay, you know what? Let's find out. Does Arturs Silovs have a statue? Arturs Silovs statue. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, it's Filov. Oh, it's pronounced Filovs. Sorry, I'm calling it Silovs. So this is an article from Canucks Nation. The Artie Party is alive and well this offseason. Canucks goalie and Latvian legend Arturs Filovs posts picture of himself autographing a fan's butt. Is that what he got the statue for? You got to ask the question. And what's cool is that I'm actually going to be able to hear the game this time too. We got a whole new setup. I'm in a brand new studio. This is I don't think you've seen this a lot. This is the SDPN streaming studio, and we've had this for a while, and we just haven't gotten around to streaming here as much as we wanted to. But if you're looking at the stream right now, you could see that's Jesse right there, and that's Jesse, and that's Jesse, that's Steve. That makes sense? There you go. Yeah, that's who's behind it. It's our Street Fighter poses. I would really like for them to start this game. Willie the Kid Delaney, big playoff win for the kid. Come on, Nux. Love that. The goalie changes 100% because of no. I'm not going to read that. Will Chan, yes, more Adam Wylde. Well, thank you, Will. I appreciate you hanging out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to align our streams here. Okay, I'm going to clap when they drop the puck so you can align with me. They're just, I guess there's an ice crew issue. So they got the ice pick out and they're going to fix something. And then we're going to drop the puck. I'm just going to read some more from the chat. Adam, would you mind if you picked a team I could GM for NHL 14? Okay. You got to pick a bad team. You got to pick a bad team that you can rebuild. There's no fun in it if they're not bad. So I'm going to say, the Toronto Maple Leafs were pretty bad. Vancouver Canucks were like the best team in the league. I don't know. That's a good question. Who was bad in 2014? Like really, really bad? I can't even remember. I have to look that up. Hey, Adam, watching from Sarnia, your favorite city. What's up, Matt Holmes? Thank you so much for watching. Colorado wins game 4. What a series that is. Couldn't believe, man, where do I get a Cale Makar for my team? Where do I get a Quinn Hughes for my team? Those guys, I've loved watching Quinn Hughes, by the way. It's just so much fun watching him and Phil Hronik and what they're able to do. All right, JT Miller with the face-off win. Here we go. And we're off. And it's already offside. Love a 6-second offside. Love that. Looking at this, 2014 Adam, LOL. Wasn't Colorado the best team in the league in 2014? I don't know. Did somebody said NHL 2014? Did you mean 2024? Because if you did, your challenge is the Ducks because you're not going to get the first overall pick, right? You need to be the guy that drafts third and still does well. Figure that one out. Remember, Bobby Ryan was drafted second behind Sidney Crosby. Not that Bobby had a bad career, but it's not Sidney Crosby, right? And we're off again. So Canucks with the first line out. Looking at this and thinking, hey, wow, they got the puck deep. How about that? By the way, if you hear any crackling on my microphone, let me know. Because we're testing out this new equipment today. So if there's any issues, you got to let me know on that. Val Nichushkin hat-trick in game 4. I know I was watching the game. I just can't believe that Colorado can do that. By the way, I picked them in my bracket. Lindholm with the puck, pulling it out of the zone. Can Vancouver get a shot here? Can we get a shot? It'll be like 1 of 16. King James 813 with the super chat. Any thoughts on Sergachev playing after 78 days after breaking 2 bones in his leg? Yeah, and they were fib. And I believe your tibula is your biggest bone, like the biggest bone you have. It's amazing. It's amazing. He's a warrior. I don't know. I'm upset. I'm upset about it. No, I'm not upset for Tampa. I'm glad for them, but like, damn, like, where do I get some of that? Nick Shannon, Columbus, even with the awful season, had their highest attendance in 20 years. Fast-growing city, passionate fan base, northern climate, can't win. Do you mean like right now, Nick, or do you mean like, is that the team you should pick? Either's fine. Either's fine. If we're talking 2014 as a team to rebuild, you're thinking of Sabres, Panthers, Oilers, Flames, and Canucks. Oh, the Canucks were bad in 2014. I forget what year they stopped being good. Was it 2013, 2012, where they finished first and then they were eliminated in the first round? And then tried to get meaner and tougher and hired John Tortorella. Was that 2014? Was that the Torts year? Bad year. Hey, when's the new SDPN podcast come out? Oh, here we go. We got a 2-on-1. And there's a shot. Good for Nashville. Good for them. Yeah, we got a new SDP coming out actually really soon. A little bit later this afternoon. I think Jesse's going to drop it probably in the next hour or so, which is great. Nikita Zadorov gets the puck stripped. Yeah, you know, it's funny, like doing this series, it just kind of forces you to talk. Like I don't need to, like I could narrate the game for you, but it's going to be a lot of, oh, there's a neutral zone turnover and Nashville takes it back and gets a shot and nothing. That's what it is. The whole series. Good save. We love this. Hey, Maddie, how do you say the name again? How do you say it, Maddie? Remember? She doesn't remember. Oh, it's Filovs. I'd let him sign my butt. Let's see if there is a statue. Silov's butt signing. Yeah. The province is a nice article about how he's a world star. And that used to mean world star hip hop. It no longer does. Yeah. Jason Zucker, welcome to the playoffs, kid. Just right off the mask. Good for Silovs. Southsea. Here we go. Goal, baby! Woo! What a goal. Brock Besser finishes a beauty setup. That was a great face-off win. Tic-tac-toe, a little bit slower than he'd want it to be. But, man, like that was spectacular. And that's exactly what Vancouver needs. You got to get in this game early. You got to get to UC right away. He had a bad game last time. Completely, and that's 5-on-5. Completely out. Miller with a great face-off win and then the setup. Wow. What a weapon. He's turned it around, man. That's so good. Wow. Great goal. Vancouver on its first shot, too. They're only going to get like 5 more, so you better enjoy it. All right. Miller, Suter, Besser, the line. It's interesting what Rick Tockett's done with the lines tonight. Let's go through this a little bit here while we're watching the game. Because, you know, we're going to see, this is a full shakeup. I love this. You ready? We'll go through it in a sec. Oh, good save. He looks comfortable. And this is, so Nashville doesn't want to let this guy get comfortable. Does not want to let this happen. Wants to get in his head right away. And what does Vancouver do? They score. So here's the lineups, okay? You got Pius Suter, JT Miller, Brock Besser on the first line. Hoglander, Patterson, Mikheyev up from the fourth line. And then Dakota Joshua, Lindholm, and Garland. It's an interesting, I mean, Dakota Joshua, I'm such a big fan. And then DiGiuseppe, Bluger, and Lafferty are, they've been a great line. Been really, really valuable. Hey, look at that. The Sportsnet keys to success. Breakout clean for the Vancouver Canucks. Normally they do. And for the Predators, get to rebounds. Yeah, no problem. So, no kidding. It was a problem for them in the last game. Guys, we got 4 shots already. And we're not even 4 minutes in. Last game, we didn't get 10 shots until the second period. 10 total. I'm not just talking team. I'm talking total shots. It's crazy. There's another shot. It's not great for Vancouver already. They're getting tripled up on shots. Yeah, Silovs is looking good. I'm trying to figure out why the Vancouver forwards are playing so low here. Garland and Dakota Joshua should be much higher on these guys. I know it's Roman Josi. I know it's the Preds first line. I know they got a favorable matchup, but it's 5-on-5 attack. especially Garland with his his ability to shift. He's never out of it. He's one of those guys that, like, if you're playing PlayStation, he corners hard. Oh, we got a penalty, and it is on the Vancouver Canucks, and it looks like is it on the Vancouver Canucks? Oh, it's Nashville. Was the penalty on Mikheyev there, or interference? What happened? Oh, okay. Forsberg knocks Myers down, but is Myers made of matchsticks? Like, it's a good draw. It's a good draw. I'll give him that. Damn. Oh, shout out to my wife who just gifted 10 SDPN memberships. Thanks, honey. I appreciate it. Justin Fisher, Adam, you're my second favorite boss. Thank you, Justin. I won't ask who the first favorite boss is, because once we know that, we'll also know who the third favorite boss is. And I don't think they'll like that. Interference call against Vancouver. Wow, the refs really are managing the game. They really are doubling it up. That means Nashville's going to go on the power play for 4 seconds. Lucky them. I want to see replay of Lindholm here. What happened? Yeah, that's interference. I mean, listen, we're pro Canucks here. We're pro Canucks on this stream. But Lindholm did a really good job of sandwiching Ryan O'Reilly between him and the linesman. And then I say, do we need linesmen? Do we need to go down that path? I don't know. Adam, who is your favorite Canuck? Quinn Hughes. He's awesome. Okay. The best Canuck for me is Quinn Hughes. Although I love JT Miller and the way he's playing. Dakota Joshua, man. There's some tantalizing skill there. That guy's going to be a problem for a long time. He's fun to watch. Prophet wants to know, is Hellebuck concerning for you? If I was a Vancouver Canucks fan, I would be very concerned. Yeah. I think Hellebuck's been good in the playoffs since forever, but I also think he's getting older, and he played a lot of games this year, and Laurent Brossoit put up good numbers. I wonder if you start him next game. Kind of tough with Hellebuck just signing that extension, but I don't know what you do with Winnipeg, because you have to at some point say to Connor Hellebuck, listen, you can't play this many games. I'm going to look up how many he played. Connor Hellebuck. Okay, so Connor Hellebuck played 60 games. You don't need to play 60 games. He played 64 the last year and 66 the year before. You don't need to play that many games, man. You're like, we get it. You're real good. Real good. Maybe play 50, 55, especially when they have a strong backup like Brossoit. Here we go. 4-on-4. Vancouver actually making something happen here. Let's see if they actually get a shot. They need to get more shots through. Nashville's done a great job of clogging the neutral zone. I think we're going to get one here. I wanted Miller to shoot there. This is good pressure, but you got to make something of it. You can't just throw the puck around. And I say that as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan who consistently watches their team throw the puck around. Miller, come on, shoot! He heard me. Phil Hronik, noted Alan Walsh client, heard me say shoot it, and he was like, you know what, Adam, I will. We got our second shot of the game for the Vancouver Canucks. We're already at 7 total shots. Man, we might get 35, 40 shots tonight. Hallelujah. Can you imagine? Here we go. 4-on-4 face-off. Pettersson, Mikheyev out there. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited to see these two together. Fast. Oh, Quinn Hughes can't keep it in. If he gets stripped here, it's a problem. And almost did. Zucker in deep. Carrier. Shot from the point, and it's in. Wow. We got a tie game already. Woo, baby. Wow. So it looks like it might have been Lauzon shot it, and then it looks like Jankowski might have redirected it. He's looking pumped. Wow. That was you know what, Vic? This is the thing. You have the puck. You have the offensive zone faceoff. It's like, hold the blue line once. Yeah, Jankowski, absolutely. And that just kind of goes through the goalie a little bit. I think he had good positioning on the initial shot, but probably at the last second wasn't expecting the redirect. Yeah. Yeah, he's got perfect positioning. It's just that one little tip. Sorry, I'm pointing at the screen as though you can see it. I'm looking at it right behind me. Right behind me. First career goals for in the playoffs for Jankowski. Good for him. Wow. DC, you guys are doing a great job with SDPN as a small business. Love what you guys are doing for playoff coverage. Keep it up. Hey, thanks so much. I'm going to like your comment, DC. Really appreciate that super chat, buddy. Thank you so much. It's kind of fun to do these. Like I'm always doing the shows with like Steve and Jesse, or I do the show with Tim, or I do the show with Alan. But you and I never get to hang out one-on-one. And that's what we're here for. 9 total shots, by the way. 14-10 left to go in the first. And as I told you, we had 9 total shots at the beginning of the second period last night or last time. So this is good. SL and the super chat. When the Blackhawks win Celebrini in the draft, do you think they'll spend big in the offseason, add Stamkos, Marchessault, Reinhart, etc.? They have the cap space to offer crazy contracts like 2 years, $12 million. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you have Chicago spent like crazy last year too. It's just it didn't really work out for them. I believe they got Zucker. I believe they had Corey Perry. They got Nick Foligno, and they spent way too much money on all of them. And it's because they should. Like, what you got to protect him with somebody. Yeah, and I think with guys like Steven Stamkos, if Tampa's not going to re-sign him, he's a great leader to have. The one thing you'd have to sell him on is how quickly you're going to get to the playoffs. And I know Peter Mrazek was good for the Blackhawks, but is Peter Mrazek good when there's actually something to play for? And that's not an insult to him. Like Detroit fans, he had a terrible time in Toronto, but Detroit fans, they'll tell you like there wasn't a lot of playoff games with Peter Mrazek in net. So I think you'd have to do a really good sell job on somebody like Steven Stamkos, not only to leave the state of Florida, but or to even leave the southern United States, but also like, okay, man, we'd really like you to come here and you're going to be the leader and you're going to bring these guys along. It's a lot of pressure. Bedard, if Celebrini happens, not everybody wants that gig. Steven's he's a very, very good, he's a good leader, man. He's a good leader, but I don't know. It's craziness. Here we go. Adam, the Ducks in 2014 had young talents like Lindholm, Vatanen, Freddie Anderson, prospects like William Karlsson, Ricard Raquel, John Gibson, and underrated players like Hiller and Boschman. Yeah, they did. And unfortunately, they didn't keep a lot of them. I remember, the Ducks for a while, and actually to an extent still, were like a defense factory. And they good goalies too. Obviously, like I think they held on to the wrong one in retrospect. Like I think the smarter play, given how good John Gibson is, this is totally not fair. But Freddie Anderson is a guy they probably should have held on to. They probably could have got 4 or 5 years of really good Freddie out of that, like the Leafs did. They had Cam Fowler, they had Josh Manson, they had, like you mentioned, Lindholm, Vetrano. They had didn't they draft Shea Theodore too? I think they did. I'm just looking that up. I'm not like Steve. I can't just remember it offhand. Yeah, Anaheim Ducks. He's a first rounder. They were just amazing at finding these defensemen and developing them. And I know Shea Theodore is a first overall pick, but you remember he's a 26th first overall pick, first round pick, 26th overall. Like that means 25 teams passed on him. He's been valuable, man. He's been really good for Vegas. This is how good Anaheim was at one point. They exposed him in the expansion draft, right? He's been a Vegas Golden Knight since 17, 18. He's one of the OGs. He only ever played less than 50 games for the Ducks. Yeah, that's it. It's crazy. We got a Nashville fan in the super chat, Peshkaru7. Let's go Smashville. I feel Blackhawks should get Tavares so he can go mentor Bedard, and we could get cap space. Uh, you mean the Leafs could get cap space? Yeah, no, John Tavares is not going to waive his no trade clause and go to Chicago. I think John Tavares is going to be in Toronto a long time. I think he's going to sign an extension for a lot less money. He's made his money. He's made his investments. He's doing real well. And he wants to be a Maple Leaf. And I don't blame him. I like having him here. I just don't know how much longer he can play the role he's playing. I don't think he's a problem. I don't. Ducks. Theodore, Montour, Manson, and Lindholm all gone. I know. And for what? What did they get? I'm going to do, by the way, a few people have requested a clap when the face-off happens, so I will make sure that happens. CDT Auto. Will you guys have the hockey guy on soon? Yeah, actually working on that. We love the hockey guy. I think he's great. And I know he was doing a live earlier today where he was just, sitting there chatting, which is what he's best at. He's such an interesting guy. You can just sit there. I was working on some prep. I was listening to it. Yeah. Love the hockey guy. Always have. He's always been gracious to us too. Here we go. Derek Palmer in the super chat. Loving your streaming chat style. Keep up the good work from a guilty Bruins fan. Derek, you don't need to be guilty. Enjoy this. Man, like imagine I had a choice to be a fan of any other team. I still would be a Leaf fan, but imagine I had a choice. Like, it must be fun. I can't imagine. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me having fun watching hockey. Couldn't be me enjoying the postseason. But I'm enjoying this. I love watching Vancouver play because it reminds me of all the things that the Leafs need to get better at. Obviously, people were doubting them earlier this year, and I was one of them where it's like, okay, is this a hot streak or are you guys legit? And they're legit, and they always had the talent, but they could never put it together. Miller behind the net, by the way, right now. 4 Nashville Predators down low protecting him. And it's amazing how quickly the Preds are able to spread out and pressure the point too. Besser with the shot. Hey, we're tied up in shots, guys. Listen, this series has been a little boring. So to be honest, we're going to be counting shots today. Zadorov back in his own zone. Okay. Leafs in 13. Man, you could give the Leafs 82, and I don't think they can get it done. I think Boston, if we're talking about the Leafs of Boston for a second, Boston had the Leafs numbers like all year, and they've had their number for 2 years. I think the Leafs in the regular season have lost 7 straight games to the Bruins over the last 2 years. Like, they're just not in the same, they're just not well matched. Or they have a coaching staff, and we can, when the podcast drops, you'll hear more about it from us. They have a coaching staff that just isn't capable for it. They have players, maybe the player mix isn't right. I don't know. It seems to be a little bit of everything. All right, so Cassie, you don't need to know in the super chat. Did you catch any of the NFL draft? This is the first year, Cassie, that I haven't. And I love the NFL draft, and I'm just going to go back and rewatch it. The parts that I have seen are Pat McAfee, who I love, because you have to look at when you're in our position, you have to look at the people that have done it there in their sport the best. Pat McAfee has done it the best in football. And him being on ESPN is amazing and whatever. Bill Belichick sitting next to him and actually talking. Like, I don't know if you guys ever watched football or if you're big football fans, watching a Bill Belichick press conference. And Bill Belichick is going to be on every Monday on the Pat McAfee show. I wonder if that means Aaron Rodgers won't be. I don't know. I think that was pretty special. So that'll be pretty interesting. The winningest, like the best NFL coach of all time is going to be on his show every Monday. That'd be like us getting John Cooper. We'll say he's the most modern, Scotty Bowman's an older man, so he's the best coach of all time. But if we were to get John Cooper on every Monday on the STP, it'd be magic. It'd be amazing. I can't imagine. First off, you'd have to pay him a lot of money to do that. In full disclosure, we don't have the money for that. But man, Like John Cooper's such a good interview. He's such a good talker. One day, guys. One day. Hey, shout out to Chris S., who gifted 5 SDPN memberships. Are you guys doing a live draft stream for the NHL draft lottery? Absolutely, we are. Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, obviously, I'm more excited to talk about the playoffs because the playoffs are just the greatest thing in the world. But yes, of course, we'll be doing live stream for that. It's going to be fun, too. Getting ready to clap here. Here we go. Just past the 10-minute mark. It's 9:57 on my clock. If you're trying to realign your stream with mine, Dakota Joshua, deep, back out to the point. Quinn Hughes out there again. Feels like he's out there every other shift. This guy's going to get like 30, 40 minutes tonight. Michael Borland in the super chat. I attended the Leafs game last night. I don't think I've ever felt Leafs Nation more on the same page that the core four is done. Yeah, Vancouver fans, you gotta love this. Your core four is looking a lot better than our core four. At least they seem to work together better. It's a shame too, because at the end of the day, we want Canadian teams to be doing well here. It's sad. It's sad. This should have worked, but it doesn't. And it's funny. We've said that about Vancouver for years. This should have worked, and it wasn't. And now it does. Zadorov off the ice. Bluger. I really like this line for Vancouver. Rick Tocchet can use these guys anytime he wants. They're defensively responsible. They make things happen. They constantly have pressure on Nashville. Like they're constantly in the offensive zone. That's it. What else do you need from a fourth line? Zach Lesk. Why do you expect the Laughs to succeed when no major changes have been made? Switching a GM and locking up the same core is not a major change. Yeah, I agree. I think if Dubas had stuck around, there was a major trade from the core four coming, and it's part of the reason they didn't keep him. It's not the full reason. He tried to basically outmaneuver Shanahan in the corporate world and knew that the Canucks had a gigantic amount of, or not Canucks, knew that the Penguins had a gigantic amount of money waiting for him if he failed. So he took his shot, he failed, and then he's going to go make $50 million over the next 5 or 7 years for Pittsburgh. I don't know. Sounds like a pretty good backup plan to me. Oh no, I've got to be Sidney Crosby's general manager. Not that went well. J-Rock, would you want Berube or Woodcroft as the Leafs coach? I'll be honest. I mean, are there any Blues fans in the chat? Oh, Yossi just took one off the ear. Oh, baby. That's no fun. Also, why don't these guys wear ear covers? Oh, there's a chunk missing. Did you see that? Oh, you got to stitch that up. He can't be. So they're not allowed to play bleeding anymore. So somebody's going to call him out on that. Yeah, like you're not allowed to, for health reasons, be out there bleeding all over everybody. But as long as the ref doesn't see it, it won't hurt them. The thing is that I don't know why guys don't wear ear covers. It's just like, it seems like a silly thing. It's weird. It's like, what if it's like, hey guys, does this affect your hearing? No. Does it make you look silly? I guess. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It feels like it would be just a pain in the ass to have a sore ear. Like you can't even sleep on that side of the pillow now. Like if that's his right ear and that's how you sleep. Nope. Sorry. Would you want Berube or Woodcroft as the Leafs head coach? From what I've heard and what was being reported, Berube has been interviewed by the Senators and another team was really interested in him, but he's holding off and waiting for the first round to end. Would I want Berube? I'm not thrilled about it. Slot Botswana. Berube would break Marner. I don't know. I don't want somebody broken. I want them to just perform and score. That's all. Refs finally noticed that Yossi is leaking. Good. Kind of important. We're at 7:32 in the first, by the way. Not a whole lot happening. There's some exciting. The two goals, if you're just catching up, the two goals have been actually really good. The Vancouver Canucks goal was just stupid. JT Miller wins the faceoff back to back to the defenseman, and then is able to get over to the other side of the ice, set it up, get the goal in, and then Lauzon and Jankowski link up for a. Okay, they're going to take a break. They link up for a nice little tip, but Seeloff's has looked pretty good. Pretty good. Like it. So this is funny. Tyler Durden, the Tyler Durden. Oh, no, Daniel Bastarche. I love this chat just for the trying to pronounce all your names. I'm sorry. 1,100 people watching and only 200 likes. I know, guys. You wanna get the likes up here? Can you help me out? Can you throw a like? Can you throw a subscribe? Be nice to get a subscribe. We just hit, I believe we did. Yeah, today we hit 110,000 subscribers, which is super cool. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Adam's thoughts on Vlasic's deal in Chicago. Why can't the Leafs get that? Why can't the Leafs get a deal? Because of the Leafs. You have to demand a deal. You have to play hardball. They weren't willing to do that ever. Leafs spent big money on 4 Phil Kessels, elite talent, but not complementary players, not play drivers when it counts. They'll each win as second or third liners on other teams. Listen, okay. SL with the super chat on that one. Okay, let me throw you this. If one of the core 4 were to go, would anybody be surprised if they were spectacular for another team? Like, my line on the podcast today, and you'll see it, is it's not the mix. Sorry, it's not the Mitch, it's the mix. People are like, oh, you got to trade Mitch because he's this, because he's that. And Matthews just signed an extension, and Nylander just signed an extension. And can you get... No, Tavares is staying because that contract is too much money for what the player is. That contract was supposed to peak in 2019, 2020, and 2021, and that's when the Leafs thought their window would be, and it isn't. Oh, wow! Lauzon pushing Pettersson, like, I did not see that. Wow. Yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so the Tavares thing, I'm not even going to count anymore. I'm not even going to talk about it because that they missed their window with the Tavares contract. That's fine. That happens. You take a risk, whatever. These guys are still like in their mid to late 20s. If, let's say, Mitch Marner's the guy that gets traded, and let's say he ends up in Nashville, will anybody be surprised if he finds success in the regular season? No, because he's spectacular in the regular season. Will anybody be surprised if he finds success in the playoffs? I think some people will. I won't be. That guy's got game-breaking talent. I don't think it's the right mix of people. I think he needs guys that, and Steve said this the other day, he needs guys that are going to make room for him. He just does. I got to give Nashville some credit here. They're able to turn it around in the neutral zone very quickly, and they're firing a lot of shots low. See this one? So he probably didn't even want it to get up high because that's just right to the chest. If you want to get one off this pad, you know, Seeloff's is like, if you can get a rebound on this guy, that's how you get a rookie goaltender, right? This is his first playoff experience. And I'm going to clap for you here because we're at 6:39 and we're about to play ball. Here we go. Oh, he didn't drop the puck. And they lost a second on the clock too. They started the clock. I can't stand when they do this. Okay, 6:39. They're going to drop the puck. Now there's a complaint. What's going on here? What's going on here? There we go. Preds win. Going deep. Evangelista at the corner. Nice shot just over the net. Oh, we got a little... Anyway, what I was going to say to finish off the SL conversation, and thank you for the super chat, is that our good friends, the Leafs, are unfortunately going to lose a great player, and hopefully they'll get some other great players that complement the great players that they'll have remaining. That's how it works. Look what Vancouver did. They were able to trade a great player. Bo Horvat's a great player. He was the captain. Great player. They traded him. They freed up the cap space. They'd already committed to JT Miller. They haven't made enormous changes on anything. Like, what have they done except for go get Nikita Zadorov? But the mix changed, and all of a sudden the team's great. And their starting goaltenders out, their backup goaltenders out, and they're ahead in this series. I don't know. To me, it's not that hard. I mean, it's kind of hard. You can't just hope for that. But I feel like you look at Vancouver, it's a good model. One of your core guys was traded at the trade deadline because the team was stinking. You got a good coach in there. You figured out a new system, and here we go. It's great. SL gifted 10 memberships. Thank you, SL. And so did Justin Fisher. Hey, guys, you're going to get to check out our SDP VIP episodes. And by the way, if you want to hear our episodes ad-free, we also have the ad-free tier at $6.99 a month. And we're kind of excited about it because it gives you the opportunity to watch any way that you want to. I know there were people asking for that for years, so you can do it on YouTube. You can do it on Apple Music. You can do it on Spotify. And I think if you lock in the price on Apple Music, it's actually a lower price. So if you lock it in for the year, you're going to save some money. SL, I agree regarding Marner and another team, but he'll be the Kessel to somebody else's Crosby because he'll never be the guy. You know what? I don't know. I don't know about that answer. I mean, he might be. You might be right on that. But like, if you were Kyle Dubas back in 2018 or 2019, whenever they signed that extension, he had just given John Tavares a career high in goals that John Tavares has still never eclipsed. He had 47 goals. Marner had 94 points. And so when you see that, you think, okay, well, Marner's clearly part of the straw that stirs the drink here. He can drive a line. And I know John Tavares is an elite center at that point, but you still that's probably a 10 or a 15 point uptick from his previous season. It's kind of crazy, right? So I understand that, they probably signed him above market value and that he probably will make the same on his extension, although somebody maybe is crazy enough to pay him a crazy amount more. I would have thought he could have driven his own line too. There was no, but by the way, he probably can. It's just a matter of mixing it up with the right people. It's also hard for wingers to drive their own lines. You got to be like Patrick Kane good to do it. Yeah. Anyway. The Canucks won a lot of low-event hockey games. This is from Gordon. Like this in the first half of the season. So they're used to playing it, and Tocchet loves it. Yeah, it's funny. Rick Tocchet is known for like Mr. Defense, and he's got one of the best offensive teams in the NHL. Like the creativity and the toughness and everything else that they have going on. Toughness, I'm talking about JT Miller. Man, that McCarron hit. That was fun to do the stream for because and DeSmith's laughing. That was fun to do the stream to see that because you never ever see that. You never see that. They're saying that, by the way, is not the reason he hurt his hand. I don't know. Michael McCarron's a big boy. I'm sure it didn't hurt. He probably laid off a little bit, but if he'd caught a player that exposed, that player would be on the ice for a while. Here we go. Shen up to, okay, no, Tyler Myers has got it now. He was pretty key last game. I know I'm not listen, I know the numbers are not great on Tyler Myers, but I think you don't have Tyler Myers so that you have a great game 43. You have Tyler Myers so you have a great game 4 in Nashville, right? He's just a big boy. D.D. Weiss, how about those abs? Man, how about those abs? How about Nichushkin and Cale Makar? Let's just talk about Cale Makar. So we got 14 total shots, eclipsing our first period total shots of 9 last game. So Vancouver's been able to open it up a little bit, but I would also say that Nashville has opened it up too. They got a great goal, beautiful redirect by Jankowski, and I think that they're going to have to score more to stay in this series. You can play defense all you want, but you do have to score. It's interesting. Now that I think about it, if a team is looking for like an elite player, the Leafs might be the guys to call this offseason. And I would think Nashville is an interesting choice. Everybody wants to live there. Um, it's a tax-free state. It's fun. The fans are amazing. It's a good building, great organization. If you're an elite player, Nashville's on your list. Elias Adame, Makar Amthews. I'm assuming you mean Matthews. I mean, I guess. I don't know if you need to compare the two. They're kind of apples and oranges. It's defense and 69 goals. Nice. Right? Makar better than every other player in the world other than McDavid. Now, would Oilers fans agree on the Draisaitl thing? Because Draisaitl is criminally underrated just because he plays next to McDavid, in my opinion. Garrett, who is an SDP VIP member, I hate country music, so Nashville is not for me. Yeah, it probably wouldn't be. Although you might like the weather and the people and the just general happiness that you feel when you step off the plane and live in Nashville. Eric Young, who's a good friend of ours, who's a wrestler, he said to us last summer that during the draft, he's like, I don't go downtown anymore because only pain awaits, and he means hangovers. But I've never seen 4-floor bars, like bars that are 1, 2, 3, 4 floors and like a rooftop. I think Morgan Wallen, the country singer, threw a chair off of one of them because he found out his girlfriend was engaged to another man or something like that a couple weeks ago. And there's very few bars in Toronto where you could even throw anything off of them because there aren't a lot of rooftop bars. They're just not. It's awesome. Is Makar the best defenseman of all time? I think Bobby Orr is the best defenseman of all time. But I think that you give it another 5 years. Like, think about how ridiculous 5 years ago you would have been to say Ovechkin is going to be a better goal scorer than Gretzky. Think about how silly you would have looked. You would have looked stupid. And now we're openly talking about Ovechkin passing Gretzky's scoring record in 2 seasons. Maybe if he has like a renaissance crazy, we've never seen it before, season 30, his 39th year season next year, it could happen pretty quick. I don't know, man. Makar, don't discount this era of talent is what I'm saying, I guess, because, here we go. Vancouver in deep. Suter. I think that we cling too much to history. Oh, here we go. We got a break in. Oh, I think Shilov stopped it, but I'm not sure if Carrier was held up or not. That was the most exciting play of the period right there, and it didn't even go in. Richard Clay, I wouldn't mind a Marner-Buchnevich swap. Blues would add a bit. I don't think the Blues would be willing to offer an extension he wants. Reuniting Thomas and Marner could be fun, though. Well, listen, if Mitch Marner's getting traded, it's to a city that he wants to go. And I'm not saying St. Louis is in that city, but he holds all the cards. He's got a no move clause. So you would assume, like people have been tweeting at me all day about like, well, he can't get moved. Nobody can get moved. They all have no moves. Guys, we've seen no move clause get way before. So, McDonough does not look like he's feeling good. So did Carrier, I'm just looking at this. Oh, man, Carrier. Seeloffs was in a good spot. Yeah, I think it's not, sorry, Richard Clay. It's not that it's not that St. Louis wouldn't do it. It's, does Marner want to spend the next 8 or 9 years there? Because he's got to think about that. And any acquiring team is going to pay a bit of a premium, even though he has a no move clause, because it's Mitch Marner, and you can sign him to that 8th year. That's a big deal. That's a big, because the 8th year is a big deal, not because you want the 8th year, but because you can bring the average annual value of the contract down. So instead of making, let's say it's 11, instead of making 11, he can make 10, but still make the same amount of money. And that gives you more flexibility going forward. Syed Khan, if you could change anything, oh man, the Leafs questions. If you could change anything with the Matthews era, whether it's getting tougher or signing big contracts or keeping Dubas, what would it be? I think I'm going to compare it to the Vancouver Canucks for a second. So I think Francesco Aquilini. We got a player down here. Is it a puck to the face? Yeah, on Tyler Myers too. Man, he's had a rough series. He's already missed a game, but he's up. Looks like it might have hit him in the nose. Oh, that's rough. Let's see here. Novak shoots it. Does it go up the stick and into his face? Oh yeah. Oh my god. Even the so I think what happened was the puck hit him in the visor, which is good, but then the visor comes down on his nose and just crushes him. That sucks. Zadorov just crushed Evangelista as well. We got a minute 32 left. I'm going to do a little clap here so we can align our streams. You guys ready? Here we go. I like this first period for the Canucks better than I've liked any first period so far. I think they started really well. This is a much more even game. They're still only on track for like 21 shots, but that's a heck of a lot better than 12. That's opening the Preds up as much as hopefully they can do a little more. But here we go. Miller in. Can they get a good last minute shift? If they can get a goal here with Joshua on the ice, Lindholm's on the ice, you got guys in there threatening that can score here. If you can get a goal here, you got a really good opportunity to just make Nashville feel like crap all the way through the second intermission, which is what you want. That's the mental edge you're looking for in the playoffs. 42 seconds to go. Roenick with the puck. How quickly can Nashville get down? He was pressured. Vancouver fourth line out, so I don't know how serious they are about scoring. Nothing against our boy Teddy Bluger, but maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe they score here. DiGiuseppe throws a little hit. Zadorov keeps it in. Lafferty's down deep. DiGiuseppe behind the net. Oh, there's some good play here. They got a scoring chance. Shoot. Oh, you almost wish somebody would yell the timeout to them. Anyway, this is fun. What do we got here? Marner for Gaudreau, plus or minus prospects or picks on the other side. Who says no? Gaudreau's not what the Leafs need, and Marner's not going to Columbus. If he'd wanted to go to Columbus, he would have signed the offer sheet that Columbus offered him the last time he was a free agent, and that was somewhere in the neighborhood of, they said, $13 million at the time. There was apparently an offer on the table. That's what I've heard. 13 mil. And that's why the Leafs had to go to 10.93 or whatever it is, because he had to have the 9.3 in it, or whatever it was. Ridiculous. Nylander, don't cry, bro, was a top Google search this morning. That is beautiful. That's beautiful. It's about time these guys call each other out. As a CBJ fan, I'm okay with that deal. Yeah, and again, like I don't think anybody in Columbus would hate that, but I will say that I don't think Marner would do that. I don't know that Marner would leave Toronto. Maybe it's we all just assume it's him because if they are going to move on from somebody, because Matthews and Nylander just signed an extension, but maybe that's what makes they're not moving on from Matthews. They can't move Tavares. Maybe there's a way that maybe they go, no, Marner's the guy and Nylander isn't. And look at this contract, and he almost scored 100 points. Is he at the top of his value? I have a hard time believing that, but it's possible. And listen, Toronto's not out yet. No team is. The Capitals might be soon, but we're not there yet, are we? Capitals haven't won a game, but we're not there yet, are we? So we'll see. Hey, so Maddie, by the way, Maddie is running the stream today. Maddie, are you doing the chat too? You're here and there. Who's running the SDPN chat? Justin Fisher and Rob in the SDPN chat. Hello, guys. Hello, lovers. So Maddie, let's play a clip here. I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to hang out for the second period. Is that cool? Do we have something ready to go, Maddie? Okay, so this is, if you've never seen SDP VIP, we do a 4th episode every single week. And it's fun because, first off, the comments are just bonkers because everybody's just hardcore. Secondly, it gives us a chance to jump outside of hockey and talk about either pop culture or other sports or what's going on in our lives or whatever. This one is you're about to cringe. You're about to cringe harder than watching the Leafs try to win a game against Boston in Boston. This is the reporter from about a week and a half ago asking Caitlin Clark, the top female basketball prospect in the world, a really awkward question in a really awkward way. And I want to know what you think about it. Let us know in the chat. I'm going to use the bathroom and let's rock and roll. All right. Play the clip, Maddie.
She got drafted first overall by the Indiana Fever, and she had her introductory press conference with the Indiana Fever. And you probably have seen this video, but if you haven't, a reporter by the name of Greg Doyle of the Indiana Star decided to ask her a question. And you'll hear the audio here, but you won't be able to see what he does, and we'll explain it after you hear the audio.
Hi, Caitlin. Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, let me do this.
You like that?
Oh God, this hurts.
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So, question is...
Die!
So, right there, you'll hear Greg Doyle ask Caitlin Clark a question, but before he asks her a question, he does the heart thing. So you know the heart that like Taylor Swift always does. Yeah. You put your fingers together, you do a heart. He does the heart thing to Caitlin Clark, who is on the podium, and he is in the audience asking her questions, and he does the heart thing to her, and she goes, you like that? And he goes, yeah, I like it. And she's like, yeah, I do that to my family after every game. And he's like, well, I hope you do that to me while you're here. Things will go a lot better.
The amount of people laughing surprised me.
I think it's 100% awkward laugh.
Yeah.
Like when I'm uncomfortable, I usually laugh.
What was that Julia Louis-Dreyfus thing from Veep? What the fuck? I think that's what everyone's.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's the subtext.
So let's play it one more time, and then let's get into his apology. So when you're hearing this, imagine he does the heart thing. He's off camera, so you can't see him actually do it.
Hi, Caitlin. Greg Doyle, Indy Star. Real quick, let me do this.
You like that?
I like that you're here. I like that you're here.
I do that at my family after every game, so.
Okay, well, let's start doing it to me and we'll get along just fine. So.
I like that you're here. I like that you're here. Start doing it to me and we'll get along really fine.
Look at her face.
And she's shocked.
She doesn't know what to say. Like,
no.
What do you say? What do you say? Like, so here's what I want to understand.
Mm-hmm.
First off, what is the quote he's going for his purported article for the Indy Star? What are you?
Well, he didn't ask this question yet. Like that.
Oh, so he had a question.
Yes. So if you hear the end of this, he's going into his question.
And we'll get along just fine. So. Question is, and then he asks a question. So this was just his introduction, because Caitlin Clark is in Indiana for the first time, meeting the Indiana press and all the media that's there, the national media as well. And he's like, hello, Caitlin, here's this heart. We're going to get along just fine. I'm glad you're here.
So Jesse, please, never again.
You
sounded like a horse.
I'm quoting Greg Doyle.
Like a cartoon horse.
I'm glad you're here.
Please.
I don't want to do this anymore. I want to.
What were you going to say, Adam?
What was he going for? Was he?
I'm not like other dads. I'm a cool dad.
Caitlin Clark is in her early 20s.
She's 22.
Okay. She's not going to date you, bro. And also, let me just say that is that what he's going for? Has he interacted with a female?
You think he's trying to rizz up Caitlin Clark?
Like, that can't be what he's doing, right? Like, this feels like it was. I mean, maybe. It absolutely can be what he's doing.
Yes,
but I am
Men, Adam.
praying beyond belief that you're not hitting on an athlete at her introductory press conference. Please.
SDP,
So-
VI, please let me leave the room.
Yeah. So okay. Let's try to say for a second that he wasn't trying to hit on her, because that's so outrageous to me. There's no way.
No, it starts with, hey, I'm cool. I know the heart thing.
So what's the bit?
I don't know.
Because we know it didn't land, but usually with a bit that doesn't land, we could kind of see where it was going.
You're like, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so for context,
I don't know if that picked up on the mic.
Yeah, Maddie says he's old, which is the fact. He is not a young man. He's not nearly 22 like Caitlin Clark, and that's for
How
context.
dare you? That's a dog.
For context.
Oh, you mean the guy?
Greg Doyle is not a young man. Do you want to hear his apology?
Dude, it would have been also weird if he was.
Yes. Don't, yeah, we shouldn't excuse that he's just because he's old. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Young guy doing this too would have been also creepy. Matt, if you want to pull that off, I'll just pull up his apology here.
Oh, bro.
So Greg Doyle, after he went like crazy
Wild viral.
he said this: "Today, in my uniquely oafish way, while welcoming Caitlin Clark to Indy, I formed my hands into her signature heart." He does the heart emoji. "My comment afterward was clumsy and awkward. I sincerely apologize. Please know my heart, literally and figuratively, was well intentioned. I will do better." And he went on to write a giant article about this and apologizing in the Indy Star, where he writes. And he wrote, he explained that he is known in local circles for having awkward conversations with people before asking brashly conversational questions. He directed his apology at Clark, adding, "In my haste to be clever, to be familiar and welcoming, or so I thought, I offended Caitlin and her family. After going through denial and then anger, I'm on the wrong side of this. Me? I now realize what I said and how I said it was wrong. I mean, it was just wrong."
In italics.
He writes like a pick-me. Like in
Okay. I need
Do you guys getting these vibes?
I need a definition, an oral definition, because I understand it, but I can't describe it. What is a pick-me?
What's the best way to describe it?
You say
Somebody
it, I understand
A
what you
person
mean, but-
who does everything for external, mostly external validation, mostly from somebody of either the opposite sex or the same sex, depending upon what they're attracted to.
And I would add on to that, they do those things in their own perceived quirky way. Is what adds to like the cringe factor of pick-me's.
It's like So what did you think of the clip? It's pretty weird, right? Somebody said in the chat, they're like, "Why is journalism getting so unhinged?" Well, or why have journalists been getting so unhinged? I don't know that that's necessarily not been the case. I think there's a lot of journalists out there doing incredible, respectable, amazing work, and then you've got people who are like, "I need to find an edge." and they'll kind of look anywhere. That one was wild, though. It was wild. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, it's a crazy world out there. Everybody wants to be an internet celebrity, and I feel for Caitlin, because like it's just weird, right? Like it's your first press conference. Everybody's trying to make a good impression, and here's the thing: like athletes and journalists, especially, have to work together. Athletes have to talk to journalists. It's part of promoting the sport, part of outreach to fans, and creating a relationship with the fans. And journalists tell the story of the athlete, whether that's good or bad. So there's a symbiotic relationship here, because obviously the more good stories, probably the more the athlete's worth. And so that this reporter that asked that question, they're gonna have to work together for a while. She's gonna be there a while. Yeah. And Duncan said, dude's probably 50. I don't know if he's 50, but he's definitely older than I am. Put it that way. I'm 36. So yeah. Shut up, Kristen. Welcome to being a woman. Man. Man. I think, as I said in the clip, I think there's going to be some people. I don't think the best people have to worry about this, but I think there are going to be some people in some markets who have to adjust to talking to women in a sports professional capacity, as silly as that sounds. I mean, I think that's just, we've had 100 years of this, and of it mostly being men, and except for like the Olympics, and then women's tennis when it really took off in the 70s and 80s and became, on par with the men's game in terms of sponsorship dollars and stuff. And I would say that there are a lot of reporters that are just not equipped. And actually, sometimes you see it. I don't know how deep you guys get into SportsCenter, but my morning routine is to watch both versions of the morning highlight shows. So I'll watch Sportsnet's, and then I'll watch TSN's, because Sportsnet's is shorter. So I watch a quick thing, and that's like a recap. But I find TSN's that goes a lot deeper. They'll tell you the full story. They'll give you context. You're going to see all the highlights, where Sportsnet's sort of rushing it. So I watch them both. And I feel like it gives me a good kind of view of things. And every once in a while, it'll be in Europe usually, and there'll be some like tennis player, and she's just won this crazy match or lost this crazy match, and then there'll be some reporter who asks something that has that vagueness of I don't know. I don't know what you'd call it. Just a bit of vague ignorance to it, and then they'll have to correct them. And that's after years and years and years and years. So I'd expect that this is not the end. It's not the end. Up until recently, women's tennis was much more competitive than the men's side when the Big Four dominated everything, and it turned into a snore fest. Well, I haven't paid enough. Do you mean like the Big Four in men's tennis? Yeah, because I think women's tennis is like, it's amazing. It's such an amazing sport. And the thing about it is, whenever you hear somebody talk about like, oh, women's this or women's that, it can't work, you just show them women's tennis, and they'll be like, oh, but that's a different game. It's like, you're moving the goalposts. You're telling me that people won't watch women's sports, and they do, and I've just shown you proof that they do. And then you're going, oh, well, that sport's different. No, that's not the argument. And so, like, you look at what the PWHL has done, and as far as like international sports go, what the PWHL has done is small, right? But it's huge. The impact is huge. Because first off, you got sellout buildings pretty much everywhere in Canada. At least I know Boston's doing well. New York, I think, struggling with attendance. But Jesse and I were talking about this last night in the car, and it's like, oh yeah, they play in Connecticut though. They don't play in New York, so they'll get that sorted out. Starting small as a business, as I've learned too, you start small and then you just grow incrementally. And I think that is what women's hockey is going to do. And we haven't even seen a round of the playoffs yet in women's hockey of this professional league. We've seen it with the NWHL and when it turned to the PHF too, and it's all that. But this is going to be cool. I'm really, really excited. And by the way, as a sports fan, Are you against more sports? That's the other question I always have is like, oh, so you like a very specific type of sport, or do you just like sports? Because I'll watch any sport anytime. There are certain sports that are obviously my favorite: hockey, Formula One, football. Those are my kind of favorite sports to watch. But I'll tell you, more sports does not make me upset. It doesn't. Here in Nebraska, women's volleyball. This is from Husker. Oh, we got a corn husker. Here in Nebraska, women's volleyball is extremely popular. Our media treats them as athletes. Did you guys know that? And I'm going to do a clap here in a second because they're about to drop the puck. Did you guys know that right after World War I, here's a history corner for you. You ready? Right after World War I, women's soccer had taken off so much in Britain over the previous years because all the men had been at war that there were like 60 or 70,000 people that showed up to a match for a championship final. And then the FIA, or not FIA, that's motor racing, whatever the governing body was for soccer at the time, banned women from playing until the 70s. So people were interested in women's sports years and years and years ago. It's just that the people in power thought that that was improper and that it was wrong and a woman's place was elsewhere. It's the reason we're behind on everything. Here we go. Boom. JT Miller, Tyler Myers. I wonder who comes out strong here, guys. Who comes out strong here? Women's hockey needs more American-style camera work, lower down, closer to. Yeah, Gordon, you're going to have to give them some time, right? It takes time. It takes time. They're just starting out, right? That it's not going to be perfect. Like the fact that they launched without names, right? They're just New York, Toronto, whatever. That's all coming. It's all coming. And you have to look at these things in like 10-year increments. You can't look at it like this year they don't have all this stuff, so it's going to fail. It won't. It'll be all right. They're going to create brands, right? They just have to get the names right. That's why they're waiting. Is Eddie Lack in the building? Jay Thompson says Eddie Lack's in the building. That's awesome. Love that. Eddie Lack, one of the best Twitter followers. I'd like to see this Lindholm Garland line do something today. Mostly because I want to see Dakota Joshua be a huge factor the way he was in game one. He was more of a factor yesterday than he was in game two. Last game than he was in game two. But I'd like to see a big Dakota Joshua goal. Lindholm's been solid. I'd like to see him score a little bit here too. This is really good pressure. Garland down deep. It's so hard to believe that Connor Garland, like 6-7 months ago, was looking for a trade out of here. So crazy. It's so funny how the league works. Oh, good block. Here comes Joshua. He's going to flip it out as soon as he gets past that red line. And we're going to get a change. Top line out for Nashville. It's off a player. No icing. Ooh. Sissons really went after Quinn Hughes on that one on the forecheck. So he's got some speed. How weird must this be for Anthony Beauvillier? Like, that's got to be strange, right? He's been on two different teams since Vancouver, and now he's playing them in the first round. And honestly, on a far inferior team talent-wise, but their strategy is really doing well. It's working well. Sean McDaniel, Adam, is there an STP today? Yes, there is a Steve Dangle podcast today. It's being edited right now. It's coming. It's coming. And it's a long one, too. That's why it's so late. Our next one's not even till, I don't think our next one's till Wednesday, so it'll have to tide you over. But you got the Steve stream on Tuesday night. Am I streaming Tuesday night? I might be too. I have to look at the schedule. Yeah, tomorrow might actually be Oh, you know what else you have? CJ show's coming out. They're recording tonight too. Okay. Listen, I know I'm tooting our network's horn here, but that's sort of part of the job. That's CJ show. Did you read CJ's article today about the Leafs? Guys, You got to check out that show. It's coming and it's a long one. Sorry, Jeff. You're right. The phrasing needs work, okay? The phrasing needs work. By the way, thank you all for being here. It's so cool that you guys all come and hang out, and there's so many like repeat faces too, like people that have come in for, for a few hours or a few minutes every stream or every other stream or whatever. It's awesome. And I'm learning how to do this, man. It's different doing it when you can be relaxed about it too, right? Like if this were the Leafs, I would be far more stressed out, potentially irritated. Not going to lie. This one, I get to kind of like playfully cheer for the Canucks, get to rib the Nashville Predators a little bit. But it's nice. It's fun. It's a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Really good pressure here from the Nashville fourth line. Almost a couple scoring chances there. Is it weird to say that I've been impressed with Kiefer Sherwood in this series? It's been a bit of a factor. Here we go. Block that shot. Oh, we get a strip. We're going to get a breakaway. Oh, pass it back. Oh, Nashville with great coverage there. Although, full credit. That was a good strip. It just maybe not, doesn't have the foot speed, or maybe at the end of the shift. Dakota Joshua down deep. That was fun. Like that. Ian Cole, Nikita Zadorov. That's a mean pair. You wouldn't want to play against these guys. Just nasty to play against. Zadorov is the only one back. We got a 3-on-2. And it's a goal. Absolute laser beam. I believe set up by Yossi there. Wow. And that is the unfortunate part of a rookie goaltender. They are going to let shots like that in. It doesn't matter how good they are. The nerves get to you. The speed of the shots get to you. Gus Nyquist has been known as a goal scorer his whole career, and that was a really, really good shot. And when they show the replay here, I think it gets under, if I'm not mistaken, it gets under his arm here. Yeah, Suter probably should have pulled the puck in and just at least taken a shot and got the offensive zone faceoff, because it immediately turns around. Nyquist comes in. Yeah, I think it's under or over his glove, one of the two, but they didn't show enough replays for it. Yeah, that's a rookie goaltender for you. Vancouver's had no luck with goaltenders this series. Imagine I told you when this series started, hey guys, they're going to start 3 different goalies in 3 different games. Brutal. Hronek back, covering off. Quinn Hughes has got the other guy, and that's a penalty. I'm not totally sure it should be. I think Phil Hronek has got some reason to be a little upset there. That to me is just defensive coverage in the playoffs. That's just what it looks like. Okay, Nyquist, just top corner. Delicious. So I don't think that the goalie had Rodick flipped the puck at him too. That's, a good credit to Jason Zucker. That's what you need to do. Drive the net, keep your feet moving. If you don't get a scoring opportunity, you create a power play. It's awesome. Ryan O'Reilly had 14 power play goals this year. He's been, to me, the most dangerous looking Nashville Predator this entire series, at least in terms of finishing off scoring chances. I realize he's got people setting him up. I realize he's got Yossi and Forsberg on that line, but he is he's going to be right in front of the goalie here. Sir, first got to win the faceoff. They're going to kick somebody out. No, they haven't dropped it yet. Here we go. Faceoff just happened. Oh. Justin Fisher's Amazon. There's I have to. Some music started playing in the office here, and I think it's because it's Justin Fisher's Amazon music thing. I think his music speaker, and it's playing in the other office, and I can't shut it off. Oh, it just shut off. I guess Justin was trying to listen to some music and he didn't realize he played his out speaker. Amazing. It's a little scary too. I'm not going to lie. I'm up here all by myself. I don't even know if Jesse and Maddie are still in the building. I think Maddie is still here. She's running the stream. By the way, shout out to, yeah. Oh, you're both here? Hey, Maddie, people are asking about when the STP is coming out. Can you turn around and ask Jesse? I'm just listening to Jesse through Maddie here. Okay, so the audio version is out. Video version's dropping when? At 7 p.m. So 30 minutes from right now, you're going to get the video version of the STP, but you can listen to it right now if you want to. It's going to be a crazy edition. Vancouver's done a good job of killing this penalty. I love their diamond formation. Their forwards really stick to it high. We saw it happen with Toronto last night. What happens when you don't? Unfortunately, Mitch got caught, and it's been oh, here we go. We got a steal. Oh, Miller driving the net, and he gets hit over to the puck zone. Oh, that was awesome. Suter almost had one there. Duncan Hume, Adam, thoughts on Amazon buying up Monday night rights to NHL games in Canada? Personally, I hate it. Multiple subscriptions for one product is criminal. Well, okay. So this has always sort of been the case. As much as everyone hates multiple subscriptions, there was a time when I was a young lad, where games would be on Global, City TV, CTV, and like TSN and Sportsnet. There were like 5 different channels. And 2 of those or 3 of those channels would be subscription-based channels. Like you added them to your cable package because you only had like 6 or 7 channels that came for free. And so I remember, and I think the Score used to have Leaf games too, weirdly enough. And then like Leafs TV had Leaf games and stuff. So it's not abnormal to have, it's been abnormal to have 1 or 2 broadcasters have them rather than like 6. Because like and obviously CBC had theirs, but like the subscription fees just wouldn't be as much as they are now, right? They'd be like $1 or $2 a month back then, which I guess maybe is equivalent to whatever it costs now. Like Amazon is what, $99 a year? And I think the assumption is that everybody's going to get Prime, or most of us have Prime anyway, so we can have packages delivered to our house. I think that's the assumption. What do I think of it? I think it's good, actually. It's Rogers cutting their losses with hockey. I think they spent a ton of money. They didn't get a lot of playoff luck. Like the Leafs never making it out of the first round is, believe you me, killing their budget. The fact that this is the first time, other than the COVID year where everybody lost money, that the Vancouver Canucks, a major, major city, have been in the playoffs since they bought those rights. The first year that they got the rights, not a single Canadian team made the playoffs. And the only time they've had one of them go to the finals is, again, during the COVID season where everybody lost money. So honestly, for Rogers, I feel bad for them because from a business perspective, it's them limiting their loss, which is why they sold it. And they're on a sliding scale. So when they bought those rights, they're in American dollars, and the Canadian dollar and the American dollar were on par. And in fact, the Canadian dollar that previous year had been like worth more than the American dollar. That's how bad the American economy had been. And so, and the Canadian economy had actually been quite strong. And so what's interesting is, let's say it's a $4 billion deal or $6 billion deal or whatever it was. The first year, Rogers would have paid like $250 million American, right? And then the scale slides up, meaning that they pay more and more and more and more every year. And think about it now, when the Canadian dollar is like 60 cents on the American. It's brutal. It's so expensive. So they're selling this to Amazon, who could care less if they make money on the hockey rights or not. They just want you to be a subscriber to Prime. And, they want you to, be a subscriber to Prime. So you buy stuff. So you watch Fallout, Lord of the Rings, whatever else too. I also think it opens up more jobs in the media. So for me, I like stuff like this because it means that they're very likely going to hire people that are either at other networks or previously not on TV or whatever. In a world where media is cutting back a lot, we could find ourselves with a really great panel show. Like TNT has an unbelievable hockey panel. I think the Canadian ones, I think TSN does a really good job. I think sometimes the Sportsnet ones are a bit sluggish based on the way they're produced. And that's not to take away from anybody. I think all of them are super talented. I think it's just the way that management wants them to direct the conversation. I would like to see panel shows that look a lot more like what TNT does on basketball and hockey, where it's a conversation, kind of like what Steve and Jesse and I do. We just chat, we talk, and it's very they're very organized about the way they talk, but there's back and forth. They can disagree with each other. I hope that Amazon hires a producer that has personalities in mind and really grabs you, because intermission shows really used to be and really should be something that you get excited for. I'm amped up from the hockey game. All right, let's break it down and talk to our friends. That's what intermission shows should be. What they have become are kind of stilted people in suits just talking at you. I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I feel like intermission panels need to be a little bit of expert analysis, but they need to be more like I'm listening to my friends who are a little bit smarter than me. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about it. And yeah, also the other problem is that they've turned over so many people. Like the churn has been crazy. So you didn't get Hockey Night in Canada for years was the same people over and over so you got to know them. And hasn't been like that. And economic reasons, there's a bunch of reasons why. Nobody's accusing anybody of being intentionally stupid or bad or whatever, but I'm excited for Amazon. I actually think it presents creating a crazy opportunity. And I think what's going to happen is that Amazon is getting their foot in the door now. When those rights come up from Rogers in 2 years, Amazon is going to try to buy them. But it also makes sense for Apple and for Netflix to buy them as well. And what I think is going to happen is one streaming site is going to buy the national rights in Canada, maybe split them in two. Oh, good wraparound there, by the way. Damn. Almost had another goal. That was real close. Hoglander. Wow. That was a surprise. It was a play that kind of developed into nothing. Anyway, what I think is that Amazon has a real opportunity here to get a head start on what will probably be a national rights package. And I'm excited for Monday Night Hockey because I love Saturday Night Hockey and I like Wednesday Night Hockey. So if the Leafs are playing Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, then it's easy to plan my life around. And I don't know. I've got high hopes. I understand the issue with the subscriptions thing, though. You got to make choices sometimes, right? And Amazon's just trying to make sure that you're making the choice that it's them over a Netflix or a Crave or whatever else. That's what it is. 88 Laser Beam. Hey, Adam, would you three consider a watch along together in person? Have you done it before? Would you do it again? We haven't done it, and I think we absolutely would do it. And I think I haven't talked to the guys, but I think maybe Stanley Cup final. We were trying to divide and conquer with this because I'm obviously not going to step onto what Steve has created with the Leafs. It's so cool, and you guys are in on it, and it's awesome. I love seeing it. And assuming the Leafs aren't in the Stanley Cup final, because they sure look good. Yeah, I would see that. I think it would be very, very cool. I'd love to hang. Listen, I get to hang with the guys even more. I don't hate that. T.A. Neiman. What was the first hockey game you remember as a kid? Love the lives. Keep doing an amazing job. Thanks, man. I barely mentioned the game in the second, but let's be honest, it's not been great. Let me think here. Let me think. First game I can remember. The first game I saw in person that I can remember, my dad took me to a Toronto Maple Leafs New York Rangers game in the 96-97 season, I believe. And we sat up near where the announcer was in Old Maple Leaf Gardens, and we could see him announcing the goals. And I can't even really remember what the score was. I'm sure I could look it up. but it was in the spring. And we sat up near the announcer, and it was partially obstructed views, like way at the back. And I think I might have been in grade 1 or grade 2, and I don't even really think that my love affair with hockey had fully kicked off yet. And then my grandfather in Calgary took us to a Dallas Stars Calgary Flames game where Rick Tabaracci was the starting goaltender for the Calgary Flames, and the Flames lost that game 2-1. But I remember that. So those are my first games live that I can remember. Do you think Alan Vigneault should coach again? Daniel Bedasso. Yo, I mean, here's the thing with Alan Vigneault. Canucks fans know this. You can't argue with the results. They're amazing. New York fans know this too. Like, he was good there too. I just think what's weird about Alan Vigneault, and he was in Philly too. That was a bad run. First off, coaches and their philosophies rarely last past a decade or two. Like, as much as we complain about not being a lot of turnover, the guys that truly last are the guys that either have such a specific point of view on hockey that it's universal, like a Tortorella, where it's like, this is how we play. You know what a Torts team is going to be. You got a culture issue. Torts is going to be in there yelling at guys, and they're going to all be blocking shots, and the Sedins are going to lay down in front of the puck. And by the way, that didn't work in Vancouver. With Vigneault, I wonder are his coaching philosophies updated enough for today's NHL? Can he communicate with today's player? And there is something, like, a lot of coaches are taking training on, like, how to talk to millennials and how to talk to Gen Z. You got to remember, these guys are young. And I'm a millennial. I am a millennial. I'm 36 though. So Gen Z is the guy they got to talk to next. So, like, people that were, in grade 10 or 11 during the pandemic are now playing in the NHL. Are you prepared to talk to people like that? And I think Alan Vigneault, the criticism with him is that he's not a great communicator, and today's player wants a great communicator. So maybe Mike Gillis will take the Leafs to the promised land. That's a true Canuck fan with the Mike Gillis reference. Hilarious. Alan Vigneault was really bad in Philly. Also, our locker room was just a cesspool until this year. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's Vigneault's fault necessarily. I think Chuck Fletcher has a lot to do with that because he's the GM. But yeah, I just don't know that Vigneault's style is going to work in today's NHL unless he updates it. That's how I feel. 15 shots Nashville, 9 Vancouver. It's happening again, guys. Nashville is getting more shots. They're starting to clamp down on the Vancouver Canucks. They're up 2-1. That second goal is a big goal. It's a big deal. You've got 27 minutes and 49 seconds to lock this down. Nashville, they're a team that doesn't need a 3-1 lead. 2-1's fine. And so even if you can get a shot, can you get it past UC? Which in a normal game against the Nashville Predators would be hard enough. Is UC Saros going to allow 3 goals over 12 shots again? I don't think so. They're going to have to find a way through here. No, AV wants to sip wine in restaurants and was clueless about the ice. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know. Be honest with you, my focus on the Philadelphia Flyers of that era was squarely on their general manager and how perplexing his player moves were. Yeah, Philly fans, I feel for you. It was rough. You know what? I was just as confused by the Flyers of that era as I was with the Jim Benning Canucks. But you know what? I give Jim Benning a lot of crap, and he deserved it. There were some terrible contracts, but he did assemble some really talented players, and he drafted well. His teams were never going to win. His teams were never going to be good. Signing Jay Beagle to that deal, signing Antoine Roussel to that deal, Tyler Myers' deal was expensive. It prevented you from doing other things. It created directly the Bo Horvat situation where things fell apart there. Like, there was a lot of things about the Jim Benning era, but he did get some really good pieces. I think Connor Garland was a trade that he made. I think Jim Rutherford was able to come in and like, okay, you've built a foundation here, but you need a lot of finessing before this is a really good team. And he's done that. You look at Rutherford and how, like, it was, first off, do you remember when Rutherford took over last year, how much of a mess things were? Like, new management group, there was off-ice issues. There was so many different things that he had to kind of deal with. and I think the owner was involved. I don't know, there was some thing with the owner and court or whatever, and it's just like it was a mess. So he's had to do a lot of spit and polish and make this happen. And you know what? Good hire on Aquilini's part, because Jim Rutherford has won everywhere he's gone. He got Carolina their first cup. He got a couple more for Sidney Crosby and the boys in Pittsburgh. And look at this. Vancouver wins the division, and it's his second year in charge. Not bad. Not bad. Guy's 73. Come on. Benning also picked Pettersson. Yeah, he did. Yeah, the one thing with Benning was he was known for his great drafting, and he drafted well. He did. You can't take that away. You can take a lot of other stuff away. Like not everybody's cut out to be a general manager either, right? You know, sometimes you're just really good at what you're really good at, and you try being a GM, and you're okay, that's not what I'm good at, but I'm still definitely a person that should be employed at the NHL level in hockey. I think Benning's that kind of guy for sure. Maybe he's just not a GM. Maybe he's like a head scout, and he's one of the best. I think John Ferguson Jr. was a GM for the Leafs and has been an AGM and a scout or whatever in Boston for a decade or more. Has a job, regularly employed. Maybe he's just not a GM. Being a GM is hard. Being a president's hard. Managing people is hard. If there's any managers in the chat, if you've ever been a team leader on anything, it's hard. It's hard to get people going in the right direction. Man, I love the shiftiness of Quinn Hughes. Even that was just effortless. I know it's a breakout that came to nothing, and the Preds are doing a great job killing this power play, but Quinn Hughes, back pass it. Oh, don't do too many of that. You might be the Leafs. Yeah, they moved in quickly. Very nice. Lindholm along the boards. Besser behind the net. Board battle. Lindholm's going to get it out to the point. I think Hughes is going to get it over. Miller to Pettersson. Pettersson standing still there. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, baby. See that? Again, remember what I told you on the second Nashville goal? Rookie goaltender, sometimes the puck goes right through him. He for sure would almost put a puck through Shilov's again. Is that how I pronounce it? Can I get a pronunciation in the chat? That's a big save. See, but it almost went through him. Shilov's, yeah. Okay, so I did get it right. Yeah. Yeah. You see, rookie goaltender, big stage, loud arena, can't think straight. Yeah, and don't want to let in a shorthanded goal. Can't let in a shorthanded goal. Like that's what's going through his head. Being a goaltender is such a mental, crazy game. Oh my God. Can't imagine. Garland. I didn't like, guys, I gotta be honest with you. I didn't like Pettersson on that. He wasn't moving his feet. Oh, Garland just got. I think Carrier just grabbed Garland's face and skated by him. I didn't like Pettersson's missed pass on that one. Had he been moving a little bit, he probably could have corralled that, and there's no 2-on-1. Di Giuseppe is in deep. Sam Lafferty with a hit. Teddy Bluger. Again, this fourth line, listen, every time that this fourth line comes out, it's in the offensive zone. But the great thing about them for Vancouver is they're able to keep it there, right? You always want to keep them out of the defensive zone most of the time, unless you've got like this crazy, amazing defensive fourth line. Here we go. Di Giuseppe with the interception. The other thing, we had somebody ask about the Amazon Prime thing earlier. You see that Saving Sakic billboard that's up right now? Do you notice that Amazon's doing a little bit more hockey content? They had the Dag documentary. They now have the Alexander Dag documentary. They now have the Saving Sakic documentary. Do you think maybe they're leaning hockey? Do you think maybe they'll be the next rights holder for national games and TSN and Sportsnet will hold regional? That's what I think. I think that's what's going to happen, guys. Adam, do you think Steve is going too hard on Sammy? Personally, I think Steve has a good point. No, I don't think Steve's going too hard on Sammy. And it doesn't mean that Sammy isn't trying or doesn't care. When you're a goaltender, the nature of the job is the play has broken down and it's led to a shot. You look at Seeloffs, you look at UC Saros, okay? None of the shots that they're facing are because the team in front of them did a good job. Hockey is a game of mistakes. Hockey is a game of plays breaking down. Your percentage of the percentage of great plays that actually work is very, very low, right? There's a lot of, okay, we tried that offensive zone, but okay, they broke it up. All right, now they're coming back our way and we're going to break it up. It's a lot of the back and forth, right? So with Sammy, not all the shots that he faces are going to be fair. And the Leafs defense is not great. It isn't. They're big and tough, and they should be able to play straight line hockey, like simplify. And I think part of the problem is they're a little bit jumpy because they don't trust the goaltender behind them. And I saw that earlier this season. You'll hear us talk about it a little bit more on the podcast, but I felt like the Leafs earlier this year when Sammy was really struggling played different in front of him than they played in front of Joseph Woll. And you can see that, right? If you have a team, goaltender struggling, you're not feeling good. You can understand why a team would be a little bit more hesitant, maybe overthink some passes, not be as crisp. It really does throw the whole vibe off. Woll came in, did a good job, made some good saves, some shifts side to side. The ankle looks better. Yeah, I think Steve's got a point with Sammy. I do. And by the way, to J-Dub, Josh Dubrell, let's go Canes. Yeah, let me tell you, man, Freddie Anderson looking like top-tier Freddie Anderson. I remember. I also remember games like, I think it was game 2 where Freddie allowed like 3 goals and 9 shots. I remember those games too. The difference is Carolina's got a really balanced lineup. So you can recover from a 3-0. You can come back. You can make it happen. The Leafs did not have a balanced lineup. Swayman costs more than all the Leafs goalies have. Well, he probably deserves to. The Leafs probably need to figure out. You know, I personally believe Sammy's played his last game for the Leafs. So unless there's like an injury. So, you know, they are going to have to figure that out this year. They are. And I mean, look, Vancouver, we didn't think they had a goaltending issue. And, you know, Casey DeSmith was like, oh, it's a passing headline earlier on in the season in September or whatever they got him from. Was it September or July? I can't even remember now. It's like, oh, DeSmith, they got him from Montreal. Cool. And he was a pretty big factor. Won them a game. You know? Leafs were so young when they had Freddie in net. He was just what they needed, but maybe not the best timing. Well, yes, and they also, I don't think Dubas made great decisions on goaltending, but you got to remember, Freddie was super injured and it wasn't going well. And then they lucked into Jack Campbell, who was really lights out for them. That's why Edmonton gave him such a rich contract. And then Dubas's decision after that to go Mrazek Murray was befuddling. Like, you just can't believe that was what he really thought he was going to do. And I don't know. I'm of the opinion that they shortchanged themselves by not figuring out the goaltending thing a couple years ago. Jack Campbell wasn't going to stick around unless he was going to get paid what he got paid by Edmonton. You know, like, you look at Nashville, they go from Pekka Rinne to UC Saros, and they don't have to think about it. UC's got he every once in a while has a bad game, but he's UC Saros. You're not really thinking about it. Nashville never really, when he's in the net, the players are not like, I have no confidence in UC Saros. Never. So, yeah. Freddie Anderson playing 60-plus games every season did not help. Man, that's what I've been saying with Connor Hellebuck. I love Connor Hellebuck. I think he's one of the best goalies in the league. But he has played 186 games just in the regular season over the last 3 years. 186 games for a goaltender. He is regularly, I put a video out last summer of the top 5 goalies of last season, and his numbers, and just in terms of minutes played, are so far ahead of the next closest guy. you almost wonder, like, do you need to? Laurent Brossoit was good. Like, at a certain point, Hellebuck, you're like 30, 31. You don't need to do this anymore. And it's not that he doesn't have anything to prove. It's actually better. It would be better if he was fresher. And I know Colorado's a super dangerous team, but tell me Connor Hellebuck's not thinking, I'm a little pooped right now. I think he's a little tired. He doesn't look like himself. Yeah. And Jets defense hasn't looked great. They have to win without Brandon Dillon. I know that, but like that can't break you. You got to be better than that. Need them to score some goals. Vancouver's looking a little stronger towards the end here. It's 1:54 left. I'm going to clap for this one. Sheilofs has looked pretty good. As far as rookie goaltenders go, not bad. 2 goals and 20 shots. You can't hate that, or it's 18 shots. You can't hate it. Just can't let those shots go through them like one of them almost did and one of them absolutely did. Simone Benoit. Martin Brodeur would like to have a word. Yes, I know. Everybody's a baby nowadays. I can't. Wow, the older generations are so much tougher. I can't imagine. And you know what? You know what Martin Brodeur's dad's generation said about them? You guys aren't tough like we were. And then you know what Martin Brodeur's grandfather's generation said about his dad's generation? We went to war. All of us. We are tougher. And they're right. They're right. Maybe toughness ain't all things. Maybe it's a little bit of strategy. Maybe the human body has limits, especially when you hit your 30s. And maybe you just go, scientifically, we haven't quite figured this out yet. We haven't quite perfected it yet, but maybe 60 games is actually detrimental once it comes to the playoffs. I don't know. Canadian Gamer Inc. gifted 5 memberships. Hey, thank you so much. Duncan got gifted. Mike Daly got gifted. Simon Benoit was gifted. I don't think that's the real Simon Benoit because he just had a baby. But I'm sure there's more than one Simon Benoit out there. Oh! Good save by Sheilofs. Another one for Sheilofs. Let's go. That Sheilofs actually squared up to that puck perfectly. And with Forsberg bearing down on him, looking for a rebound. Cool as a cucumber. Good for him. Let's see if the Preds try to sneak another one past here in the last minute. Good face-off win. Myers. Woo. Is that an icing? Yeah. I think Di Giuseppe was taken down there and they probably shouldn't have called icing, but I have not understood some of the calls in this and this is going both ways. I have found some of the calls in this series obviously admitting that these two teams are not tough. Like, I don't think not that tough. Like, I don't think anybody would accuse either of these guys of being like rock'em sock'em robots, right? I don't think these guys hate each other yet. I don't see a lot of hate after the whistle. Interesting that Tyler Myers would go for that. Also interesting that the ref would not call that, considering what they have called. Oh, big hit. Oh, and they're mad. The Preds fans are mad, but that's a clean hit. And here we go. Besser's got the shot off of Saros' glove. Teddy Bluger's out there. I'm surprised more Vancouver Canucks are not pressing here. Suter's in there alone. Quinn Hughes. Hronek up to Miller. We got 13 seconds to go. Miller. Is it Miller time? Here we go. Shot. Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it. Shoot it. Well, that works. Oh, that almost snuck through. Now they got 0.8 time check. 0.8 seconds to go. Okay, now we got some hate. We finally have some hate in this series. McCarron's got his arm around somebody. The ref looked like he was like lecturing a bad child there. He was like, "You got to stop that, boys. You guys stop it." That's a pretty favorable matchup for the Canucks to get on away ice. You got your first line out there against Michael McCarron and Kiefer Sherwood. As good as they've been, that's not a matchup you want. Bluger with a great hit from behind on Ryan O'Reilly, but that's one of those like fair ones. He had the puck. He pushed him over. It's fair. Wow. Smith, Miller's in there alone. Miller's in there. They're completely alone in that. Okay, so they've bumped it up to 1.5 seconds. So the Canucks will try to win this and get a shot. Although I got to say the Canucks are getting a little bit too perfect with their shots. They got to start shooting for volume here a little bit. You got it. You're now behind on UC Saros. Rick Tocchet's trying to bring somebody back. Here we go. Teddy Bluger out there with the big boys. Yeah. Oh, Miller. Okay, now we got So Lafferty hits a guy from behind, and then Teddy Bluger's on his knees, and then somebody grabs Teddy Bluger after the face-off and just gives him the glove. Who's going to the box though? Somebody's going to the box. Lafferty probably, right? Just as I say, these guys don't hate each other yet. So there's Lafferty, and then okay, Bluger did push another guy from behind, and then he got a face wash. It's just a shoving match. Man, Teddy Bluger took a lot of crap for what Sam Lafferty did. Like, that's funny. They really have to replay this and call a penalty. Just call offsetting minors for roughing and be done with it, boys. You got to open an encyclopedia here? Come on. There's like 8.8 seconds left. What are we doing? What did they call to be able to review this? Did they call a major? Can they even do that? Oh, the draw never happened. He never even dropped the this ref or this. So annoying. That's rough. That's rough. I don't know if you guys saw this. In the Calder Cup playoffs, Toronto and Belleville were in the handshake line because Belleville beat Toronto. And Kyle Clifford and Boko Imama got into a fight. Well, really, it was Kyle Clifford going after Boko Imama in the line. You never see that. Okay, we're back. So Sissons is off. I'm assuming because he got a penalty. So it's 4-on-4. I think 4-on-4 favors the Canucks starting the third period. Always favors the skill team. They're going to have to really rely on playing off the rush, which they have not done enough against the Preds. The Preds have been good at neutralizing it, but I think, yeah. And the period's over. So glad we spent 5 minutes waiting for that last 3 seconds to happen. Zadorov getting in there too. Good. We got a little bit of hatred in this. This is good. Chat, what's up? What do we think? Noted Alan Walsh client Boko Imama. Absolutely. He was actually on AP. His story is pretty special. It's a guy that grew up and faced a lot of barriers, not just because of family circumstance, but also racial barriers and in a lot of cases being the only person of color in his leagues. And it's a great story. We did it last year, but just search Agent Provocateur and search Boko Imama. And you can actually, what's kind of fun is you can always tell when Alan's like super good friends with somebody that comes on. Like him and Brian Burke. I know that him and Brian Burke have gone head to head, and they admit as much on the show. Like they definitely had some dust ups. They're fiery guys, but there's respect there. With Boko, it's like he just loves Boko. Like that's his boy. That's my guy. And he's just smiling the whole time. So definitely an episode worth checking out. Does the NHL have a ref problem? From Josh. I mean, yeah, man, they've had a ref problem for a while. All those hardworking construction workers. If you approached Helen of Troy, what would your opening line be? Oh my God. The face that launched 1,000 ships? I don't know, man. That's how do you even start that? How do you start that conversation? It's nice bum where you're from. Like, what do you say? What do you do? I'm not good with opening lines either. Like when I was single, I always sort of relied on just talking to people. I didn't have the most creative opening lines. I'm looking at every once in a while on my TikTok, people who like record songs will record them for their Hinge dates and like and send them over, and these guys will be like hilarious. And I'm like, man, am I glad that my wife loves me and I'm not in there, because there's no way I could compete with people like that. I have no good pickup lines. Zero. You know what? Drop me your best pickup line. Drop me your best pickup line right now. I want to see what you got. Hey, Adam, SDPN episode today or tomorrow regarding Game 4. It should be up soon if it's not already. It is up on Apple Music. Our brand new SDP is coming out very, very soon. It's just... it's up. Oh, no, CJ shows up. So that's up. And that's a really good one. And ours will be up soon. I just don't know exactly when. Jesse said around 7. What's that, Maddie? Oh, we got to run a clip. All right, guys. We're going to run a clip. I'm going to take a break, and then we'll be back. We'll be back in a few minutes. Enjoy this clip. Maddie, what's the clip? Oh, this is a clip from Steve Zelafar last night. Enjoy.
If Sheldon Keefe named Samsonov the starter for Game 5, you fire him. You fire him and do it yourself. Brendan Shanahan and Brad Treliving, like, they've been around the NHL for long enough that, oh, no, you're actually a crazy person. You're fired. And we'll try to coach the game ourselves. It couldn't go much worse than it's been going. You try to do it yourself if he tries to name him the Game 5 starter. He's not going to unless Joseph Wylde gets hurt. Ilya Samsonov has played his final game in a Leaf uniform. It's done. It's over. Unless Joseph Wylde gets hurt in, I don't know, next game, or the Leafs magically come back and they win this series. It wouldn't be the first time that the Boston Bruins blew a 3-1 series lead. If Joseph Wylde can carry the team later into the playoffs, deeper into the playoffs, this is still Ilya Samsonov's final game as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, unless someone gets hurt. You can't go back to him. You pulled him for the third period. It's over. It's over. I was willing to see how it goes. He was really, really solid in, well, not the whole of Game 2, but the second and third period of Game 2. You need a save. You need a save. You need a save. He's a gem. He's a great guy. I think he'd be a great person to have on Facebook. I really do. Like, I think he's a wonderful human being. You don't know what you're getting. Game in, game out. Period in, period out. Shot in, shot out. You need a save. Teams make mistakes. Teams blow it. Teams do that all the time. You need saves. The Leafs teams that so many of you watching this right now, growing up, had goalies who gave them saves. Go back and watch. I promise you, go back and watch Curtis Joseph with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You'll think that the Leafs were the worst defensive team in the entire world, and they might have been. That dude pulled off miracle after miracle after miracle. Ed Belfour, that guy stole games. Freddie Anderson, great to see him. Just great seeing him doing so well in Carolina. It just tickles me pink. That dude stole games for the Leafs and cost them games. Dude, you know who stole games for the Leafs? Stole games for the Leafs? Ilya Samsonov. Last year. He stole games for this team. He stole them. Go watch the highlights for Game 6 against Tampa. That game shouldn't have made it to overtime. let alone the Leafs took a lead into the third period. Tampa scored 1. The Leafs got lucky over and over and over again in overtime, and Tavares gets one that goes in off a skate! They won that by the skin of their teeth, but they won it! Gosh darn it, they won! It's not the same goalie. It's just not. You can't re-sign this person. I know that's an off-season discussion. You cannot re-sign this goalie. You have no idea who or what you're getting on a nightly basis. You can't do it. There are so many other goalies. You got to go after one of those guys. And even if they can't give you Sammy's high end, you got to keep them above the low. They have no shot to win these games. No shot to win these games. Steve, when are you going to talk about the now? Even though Sammy's not giving them the best goaltending, the power play is a big part of the discussion, but forget the power play. The power play was horrible in this game again, cost them the game again. They don't score ever. Forget the power play. Whoa, now, why are we picking on the power play? They don't score at all! From Jonas Siegel, and I'm going to read this in reverse order. Goals for the Leafs in their last 11 playoff games. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 3. Wow! 2 and 1. You know what's crazy about that? The Leafs went 7 straight games with only 2 goals in a playoff game. And over their next 4 games, that average dropped. Does toughness appear to be the problem for the Leafs this year? I don't think so. They're playing with snot. Unfortunately, the dude in charge of the snot is giving away pucks for the first goal of the game. Snot helping the team win. They can't score. They can't score. They can't score. Marner and Matthews arguing with each other on the bench. Then they show William Nylander on the bench. I don't know who he was talking to in this clip, but he said, "Stop crying, bro." And then he either said, "This isn't junior," or "Just shoot it." Marner throwing his gloves and getting roasted on national TV by Kelly Hrudey in Canada and on national TV in the United States by Paul Bissonnette. And then he pulls off the most ridiculous carnival act of a goal ever. It's incredible. It's his first to the playoffs, and the Leafs have life. And that lasted for what? Listen, I've spoken to Sheldon Keefe. I've actually spoken to Guy Boucher. I've spoken to a bunch of members of the Leafs coaching staff. I've had nothing but good interactions with them. They're lovely people. But I have a responsibility to everyone watching this right now to not BS them. Fire them. Fire them immediately. You can't go forward with anyone on this staff. I mean, maybe this assistant or that assistant. Head coach? And whoever's running the power play? Absolutely not. Chip it in. No one's attacking. Bruins collect it. Out. Chip it in. No one's attacking. Bruins collect it. Out. Dump it in. Bruins collect it because no one's attacking. Out. The amount of times, dump and chase, they just dump. And weirdly, that's what it looks like. Dump. There's no dump and chase in this lineup, just the old dump and wipe. With regard to the Leafs' effort, here's what I'm getting at from Sheldon after the game. This is just a miserable quote. Sheldon Keefe, on the level of frustration within the Maple Leafs, "I don't sense any frustration. Guys are pushing each other. Guys want to win." Keefe adds, "There was nothing wrong with our effort level tonight." Great, that's great. That means that they're trying really hard and they really want to win and it's all there. If those things are true, then they are a profoundly poorly coached hockey team. Talking about the Bruins, "Hey, that's a really good team," and the other, shut up! What? One series win! It's always a good team! It's the playoffs! It's a good team! What do you got? If they're winning because they have a good team, and you have a team who's trying, and they care, and they're getting their lunch fed to them anyway, what do you got? What do you have? Other than a deeply, bitterly hateable product. Are you serious? This from Morgan Riley. No one wants to hear this right now. Morgan Riley on whether the Leafs game plan needs to change. No. It's always come down to execution and work ethic. So wait though. It comes down to execution and work ethic. I thought you were trying. I thought you were working. I don't give a crap. No one gives a crap if you're working hard, but every night, every year, every series, you are the second hardest working team. No one cares. I know that you're like, oh, I got the passion for this. I know you take the ice wanting to win, and I know that you're grinding. The other team is better. They're better. Every time. They're better. Another banger from Sheldon Keefe. You can question a lot of things. You can't question the effort. Yes, I super can, because this is a free country. And also, Morgan Riley just said it comes down to execution and effort. And you lost 3-1 on home ice in a game that put you down 3-1 in the series. And by the way, Austin Matthews didn't play the third period. Don't know what's wrong with them. They got 2 days off between game 4 and game 5. We'll see if he plays. And I'm seeing, well, this guy's not at 100%. And well, this guy is not. Dude! Every year with this! How are you willing to believe that this is just the unluckiest team on the face of the planet and not a team that deeply, bitterly at their core, at the tiniest ring of the tree that gives birth to the branches that house these leaves that we love so much, how do you not believe at the tiniest ring of that tree that they just can't do it? They just can't hang. So here's the thing. The series isn't over. Game 5, going back to Boston. Hopefully you win it. Then it's game 6. You go back to Toronto. Hopefully you win it. And then it's game 7 in Boston. You want a chance to exercise your demons. There you go, right there. I'm not willing to talk about the offseason right now, and Sheldon, and Brad, and Brendan, and all of that. I'm not willing to talk about any of that because there is still a series that they can win. The problem that I'm having is envisioning them winning it. How on earth do they win this series with anything that we have seen them do? The defense can't move the puck. They can't get out of their own zone. They can't move the puck. The forwards can't enter. And when they dump it, they don't go after it. They're on a line change or something. The Bruins are better at everything. Dude, we have talked about in the past, the last few years, certain coaches stuffing Sheldon Keefe into a locker. John Cooper did it a few times. Sheldon ended up getting the better of him. Paul Maurice did it in 5 games. Jim Montgomery, like, this is the worst one. This is the worst one. Dude, 3 minutes to go in a game. You got your 4th line on the ice, and you've evaporated like a quarter of the time remaining in the game. You got your 3rd pair and your 4th line out there. Screw your head on. Pay attention to friggin' hockey. What? Pay attention to what's going on out there. Pardon? This is easily the worst one. Cooper, Maurice, Torts, Dominic Ducharme. Dominic Ducharme beat Sheldon Keefe in the Leafs in the playoff series. No one has dominated, gotten Sheldon Keefe in the full amount and started just slapping him around like Jim Montgomery. This is tough to watch. Tough to watch.
Hello, we're back. As you can tell, it's been a tough time. It's been a tough time being a Leaf fan. Feel for Steve; he's exhausted. The SDP has dropped on the YouTube channel if you want to watch it. By the way, although I prefer if you just hang out with me for a little bit longer while we do this, the 3rd period of this Canucks game. Now, I will say that the CJ show is also out. It's kind of bonkers. The title for it is Bleak. Who do you think they're referring to, guys? Who could possibly be bleak in this day and age? Luke Jacobs in the super chat. If we were to redraft the 2021 draft, how would Wyatt Johnson go number 1 or top 3? How did that kid fall to 23? Here's the thing about the 2020 draft, the 2021 draft, and I think we're going to see this with the 2022 draft. Because of COVID, because of a lot of people not playing like regular minutes and leagues getting canceled and stuff like that, there's going to be some weird picks. There's going to be some picks where you're like, How did that happen? Let me have a look at the 2021 NHL draft, because I am not the type of person who can remember that stuff completely off by heart. Just bring it up. We got time. So Owen Power was the first one. He's had a pretty good start in Buffalo. Matty Beniers in Seattle. He's been great. Mason McTavish in Anaheim. I feel bad because Owen Power has been his time in Buffalo they've been relatively bad. Mason McTavish, Anaheim's been relatively bad. Luke Hughes was a good pick by New Jersey. Kent Johnson with Columbus. They've kind of yo-yoed him. Brant Clark in LA. I actually thought Brant Clark that's an interesting one because I'm just fixing my microphone here. Hello, can you hear me? Brant Clark is an interesting one because if he had a chance to win that spot when Sean Durzi was traded, and Jordan Spence has kind of taken it. The Cole Sillinger has played a lot in Columbus, a lot more than Kent Johnson has. And then you look at, all the way down, Wyatt Johnson. I mean, he looks to be the best pick in the draft so far. But, again, JJ Moser has played 205 games already. Let's go to the lowest drafted. See, nobody in round 6 or round 7 has even played a game yet. The thing about these drafts is that a lot of those scouts did the best that they could, but you just don't know. You just don't know what you're going to get. And a lot of these kids missed a lot of time, so their development's going to be stunted, which I think means that you're going to see a little bit more of a curve in terms of what the expectations are. So a guy maybe that you would expect to be great at 21, 22 might not come into his own until 24, 25. And that is just part of dealing with a worldwide pandemic. Am I right? Okay, lots of people in the chat. Love that you're all here, by the way. Adam, Steve needs a heart rate monitor for the next game. I think Steve's done with the heart rate monitor. I think he doesn't. I think there's might be a degree of fear that comes with that. Like, is this healthy for me? Best not to know sometimes. Who else do we have? Your team needs a change when Lyubushkin is trying to join the rush. Yeah, he was Bobby Orr last night. I didn't mind it. I thought he looked good. I wish he could be a little bit stronger more often, but he's been a relatively good pickup for the Leafs. It's just the Leafs have just not been great. Toe drag release. Nashville has this series. Well, they are clogging the neutral zone, and UC Saros is going into the dressing room with a 1-goal lead. He knows he's got to shut the door. He knows he's not going to face a lot of shots. I don't know. It is looking good for Nashville at this point. Not in the series necessarily. It'll be tied, but it's looking good for Nashville in terms of this game. It is very slow. It's very boring. If you're asking me if Canucks don't get through and Nashville does, if you're asking me if I will continue to stream Nashville games, my preference is no. I need some high danger hockey. And I need a little bit more fight from the Canucks like we saw at the end of the second period there where everybody was getting in each other's faces. Here we go. Shot right off the bat. Oh, and it's a goal. It's a goal right away. Phil Forsberg with a great goal set up from I'm trying to figure out who set him up here because I just blurred on me. The screen went all pixelated. But that's a big goal right off the top. Exactly what the Canucks didn't want. Hronek falls. Wow. So it's Yossi that scores. No, Yossi that sets it up. And Forsberg finishes. Wow. And off the skate. Oh, does he push it though? So he pushed it, but is it a kick? If it's along the ice, it counts. But it did look like he was moving his foot in that direction. There's no question it looks like he was moving his foot in that direction. But did he lift it? And are they going to even challenge it? If they drop the puck here, there's no challenge. Are they going to challenge? Are they challenging? What are we doing? No challenge? He was shaking his head yes, but yes meant no. Wow. Take themselves out of. First line is out there. 19:37 left on the clock for everybody trying to line everything up. O'Reilly to Yossi. They're moving well out there. They've opened this game up. And here's what's going to happen too. Vancouver now has to cheat offense. They gotta get volume shots on UC Saros. I don't know. And they haven't been able to do that all series. And, getting 20 shots is a challenge for them. Silovs, I think he overcommitted on that. Yeah, like if you look at where he is, first off, I don't know that he should have gone down. And again, no goaltending is perfect, but I think he was maybe down a little bit early, maybe a little too far over. And, it's a shame that Hronek falls because very likely that doesn't happen if he doesn't trip over the blue line, which it's hockey. It happens. You're skating on knives, right? I'm a Leafs fan, but man, the Canucks got to wake up. Well, this is what this series has been so far. Like it's not that the Canucks have been bad. It's that Nashville's had their number in terms of playing good defense. Naiwo. I just turned the game on. How's Pettersson mean? Nothing special. Nothing special. Be honest. Not the guy that you would need him to be. If they're going to win this series, this is not the Pettersson that they need. Vancouver keeps corralling the puck too much before they shoot. I completely agree with that. Toe drag release. That's a really good point. Again, they're looking for the perfect shot. Here we go. 19 minutes left on the clock. If you're trying to align the stream with mine, just signed up for STPN VIP. Will I be impressed? Well, Jordan, I sure hope so. But thank you for signing up. And thank you for super chatting. I do appreciate that too. I think so. I think we put on a good show. The new SDP is out. Oh, almost had a goal from Ryan O'Reilly there. Okay, so there's Pettersson out there. It's a good little block shot there, or block pass. Ryan O'Reilly's line has looked dangerous. Nyquist already has a pretty good snipe. Forsberg with just scoring a goal. They're getting their job done. Zadorov gives the puck away. Ryan O'Reilly with the shot. Good save, Silovs. That's a brutal giveaway by Nikita Zadorov. Hey, guys, we just finally got ourselves an exciting hockey game. Forsberg, Yossi, or Saros, if you could choose one for the Leafs. Oh, man. The hardest one to replace is UC Saros. So I would start with the goaltender. It's the most important position in the sport. But I sure would love Roman Yossi. That sure would be great. Man, the Preds fans on their feet. It's looking good. Hronek back to Soucy. Listen to the Preds fans. They are right into it. Suter. Bluegrain, Suter. That is not the kind of shot that's going to go in, guys. We got to work a little more than that. Vancouver's got to get a little bit more dirty. There's very little traffic in front of UC Saros, and because of that, there's nobody moving anybody, and so the little floater shots that they send in, they're not really good for much. I'm actually a little bit like Rick Tockett's team has got to do like his team of coaches needs to figure this out. Because they're not making the adjustments that they need. I think they're trying. They obviously flipped a lot of guys around in the lineup, but this is not enough. Sam Lafferty almost steals one and goes in on a break, but didn't work out. Ian Cole gets crushed. Zadorov trying to dig the puck out of his stick. Zucker's got good along the boards. Ooh, Zadorov is a little bit outmatched. There's too many Pred sticks. Not enough him. I think Zadorov's pooped at this point. I think Ian Cole is too. Those legs must be burning. They've been on the ice a long time. Seeloffs. Oh, they blew the whistle a little early there. I'm glad they did. We're hoping for Vancouver here, but that's a little bit early. Preds are laughing about it. Canucks are a shallow pool of talent, no depth. Okay, but I don't agree with that. You've got Lindholm is your third line center. Dakota Joshua is a player that's really come on this year. I like the Bluger line. I like Bluger. DiGiuseppe's had some moments in this series. They've been able to maintain offensive zone pressure when they're put out there in the offensive zone. I don't have any complaints about that line. Whoa, what a save! Silovs with a nice little glove save. I was unable to corral it. There's Kiefer Sherwood, Evangelista. Oh, that's Michael McCarron. What am I saying? So Sherwood, McCarron, and Cole Smith. That's what it is. Man, how big is McCarron? Look at him out there. He's huge. He's huge. Besser with a shot, misses the net. This is a favorable matchup for the Canucks, and they couldn't hold the zone. If Quinn Hughes can turn it around quickly here, Nashville was changing. They had a really good matchup out in front of, I have to give Taka credit. First line against the fourth line, they just couldn't make anything happen. But that's been the story, hasn't it? 15:50 left in the third period. Hronek throws it back to Luke Schenn. Hoglander waiting at the blue line, almost intercepts. Ryan O'Reilly deep. He's going to change. Nyquist holding the zone there. There's Pettersson. Mikheyev's interesting in theory, but I don't think Pettersson's playing at his best, and Mikheyev's not going to be able to drive that line. So if Pettersson can't get it going, that line is going to be pretty ineffective. You have to wonder at this point if Pettersson's hurt, right? Like, he's not been himself. And I think obviously there's some frustration with him in Vancouver already because you see the talent and he's so unbelievable. But I think you got to give him a couple more games. I think there's something that might be bugging him. I don't know what it would be, but it sure feels that way, doesn't it? I don't have any access to like behind the scenes injury reports for the Vancouver Canucks, so I have no secrets to share. Oh, Dakota Joshua with a nice little interception. Oh, that wasn't Joshua. That was Myers. Haha, I judged them on their height. A little bit of pushing and shoving. Need that. Don't know how much good Connor Garland's going to do. Look at him next to Luke Schenn. He's giving up 4 or 5 inches there. Wow. All these shots at Saros, he sees them all. Like, unless you catch him on some sort of weird glove hand where he's surprised by something, you're going to have to tip pucks in front of the net. And I haven't seen Vancouver do that all series. And I don't know who their dog in front of the net would be, because Besser's got a great shot. Miller's got a great shot. Their first goal was a really great passing play. But I feel like you need somebody in front of the net. You got to get somebody who's dirty. Okay, we're kicking. Okay. By the way, the linesmen have been doing a lot of faking it tonight. It's kind of annoying. Here we go. Vancouver wins the draw, but Cole Smith just blew by them. Yeah, Phil Hronek is looking a little not like himself right now. Wonder if everybody's a little hurt. JT Miller with the puck, breaking in. Besser over to Suter. It's intercepted and tipped. That was a bit of a hope and prayer pass. I kind of wish he'd stopped along the end boards. I know he's exhausted. Stop along the end boards, maintain the possession, see if you can get somebody in. Bluger's not fast enough to get that Quinn Hughes pass, but it was the right idea. We'll see if DiGiuseppe can keep it along the boards. Vancouver, that's what it is. There's not a lot of cycling happening here. But I know that's not really their identity, but it is sort of the playoffs. And part of the problem for the Leafs is they're not getting in. Oh, here you go. Open shot. Oh! You have to get right in front of the net. You can't be a perimeter team in the playoffs. You're seeing that in Toronto. 8 years of that in Toronto. It hasn't worked. Bluger and DiGiuseppe behind the net with Novak. Some good pressure here by Vancouver, but not a lot of chances. Again, there's good pressure, not seeing the chances. Zadorov breaking the puck out. Prophet, are you good at NHL 24? No, I am not. I don't have any time to play that game anymore, and it's embarrassing how bad I am. I used to be pretty good. Steve and Jesse are really good. I stink. 12:47 left, by the way, if you're trying to align streams. I'll clap right before the face-off here. Canucks are quickly running out of time here. Lindholm in the offensive zone. Let's hope this linesman drops the puck. I'm going to clap. No, puts his hand up. There you go. We're aligned. Quinn Hughes with a shot. That's exactly what they need. Pressure in front of the net. More of that. They got it. They got something going in there. That's what you need. You need big boys in front of the net causing shit. Myers with Forsberg all over him. Myers going Bobby Orr here end to end. Not so much. Vancouver's unsure of who to get it. South Sea behind the net. 12 minutes to go. Suter covered off though. Ooh, good play. Good heads up play. Maybe a foot to the left and even better off. Yeah, the Canucks they need more chances inside. They can't stay along the boards. They need somebody you need somebody who can handle the puck to just drive the net and create havoc. Havoc scores goals in the playoffs. Where's the puck? Oh, it's in the back of the net. That's what you need. DiGiuseppe is going to get that puck out of there. Just barely, though. Forecheck him. Yeah, this is a frustrating game for the Canucks. This is yeah, people say I smell a game 7. I know. It does feel like that, doesn't it? Not only are we going to be locked in this series that's boring and slow, we are going to be locked in for 7 games. I just want the Canucks to release themselves. I want the Canucks to be the team that we saw all year. Just highlight reel after highlight reel. Big energy, big goals. Rob has the Preds in 7 in his bracket. Man, Rob, you might have been onto something. Being outshot 25-14. It's important to note that basically every single time, every single game, Vancouver's around 20, 21 shots. So that means they got like 6 or 7 left. And you're going to have to score 2 goals on that. That's rough. 10 minutes to go. 10 minutes exactly. Somebody just put in the chat, if we had Demko, if you had Demko, what would it be? 1-0? This isn't good enough. They can't score. They can't win they can't win scoring 1 goal. They can't. Boy, I wish the Leafs could defend like this. I really do. or even half as good as the Nashville Predators, just because they're eliminating so many opportunities that the Canucks could create. Man, it's crazy. Wow. Well, what are we saying in the chat, everybody? Nucks and Leafs are two sides of the same disappointing coin. Hey, now, Canucks fans, you can't get down yet. The worst you're looking at is a 2-2 tie at the end of this. You can't get mad. You can't get mad yet. You're not allowed. You need to enjoy this. You got a great game 1 win. You got a really gutsy game 3 win. What you need is your coaching staff to deploy the players in a proper way so they can break this Nashville defense. They got to find a way to break the stranglehold. And here's the problem. It's on you to do this, because if the NHL becomes more like the Nashville Predators, like if the Nashville Predators are successful this postseason, I'm going to die. It's going to be a bunch of copycat Nashville Predators teams in the playoffs, and it's going to suck. We can't have that. You got to expose the Nashville Predators. You can't let them get away with this. The New York Islanders did this for 2 seasons, and they got to like the conference finals. Thankfully, nobody copied it, but damn, it was so boring. Vancouver, you cannot let this happen. Rick Tocchet cannot let this happen, even though he likes low event games too. That's not your team, man. Oh. Duncan, imagine being a Canuck fan right now. I would love to be a Canuck fan. Leafs are stressing me out. Yo, same. At least with the Canucks, you're like, I feel like they could. Oh, there was a good opportunity there, just nobody following up. Soucy breaking up the play. Zadorov to nobody. What was that? Just put it behind you, dude. Vancouver can't let you two win. You can't let Bono have this. You cannot let Bono have this. I have to say, Shilovs looked pretty good. Didn't like the second goal. That's pretty good. Also, he's got a great name, Artur Shilovs. It's good. It rolls. All right, you can hear those Preds fans. There is 9 minutes. There are 9 minutes and 3 seconds left. Dakota Joshua with a big hit on Evangelista there. I think what I would like to see Vancouver do a little bit here is, if there's a way towards the end of the game, if they're like pulling the goalie, just tell Dakota Joshua, listen, your entire job is to bend your knees, not move, and stand directly in front of anything that's coming towards the net. I do not want the goaltender to see a single thing. Like, make it painful for him. Make him hate his life, because they're not doing that. UC Saros is having the easiest playoff he's ever had. Ever. Nobody joins the attack. Okay, yeah, Lindsay, it's Susie. I know. Sometimes I pronounce names wrong, but you're right. It is Susie. Nobody joins the attack. This is from Toe Drag, when it's dumped or tipped in, and they keep doing these long, predictable passes. Yeah, no, you're right. And I think like Tyler Myers had one in the second period there, and I was like, what is it? It's like, you're not Tom Brady, man. You just keep it simple. The problem I thought with the Leafs don't keep it simple. The Canucks are trying to be a little too pretty right now. Canucks can't even muster a shot on goal. Canucks should reach out to the Bruins. Hughes for McAvoy straight up. You're out of your mind. You must be a Bruins fan. No way. Stop it. You don't mean that. Ben Mueller, hate both teams, but the Preds more. I actually have never met a Preds like hater. Like, who hates the Preds? And why do you hate the Preds? They seem like such a It's such a great place to live, and the fans are great. How did they break your heart? How did the Predators hurt you? It's what I need to know. Ben, what happened to you, Ben? You didn't used to be this way. You didn't grow up hating the Preds. What happened, Ben? What happened? The fact that Vancouver is leading 1-0 and there was a possibility of going 3-1 in this series, Nashville really not as big as a threat as people think. I'm not sure, Gino, I'm not sure I agree. I don't think anybody thought Nashville was that big of a threat. I think they're a bigger threat than people thought they were. That's my bet. Nashville is the easiest team in the Western Conference. Gino Million. Are they? The Canucks are not having an easy time. If Richard Clay, Preds suck. Least favorite team in the NHL. Damn, Richard. Damn. Profit. If you're a Preds hater, then you're a Ducks fan. Chris Ripley. We call them the Mustard Tigers. Yeah, they kind of are, aren't they? I want to see the Predator. I want to see the movie Predator goalie mask. Oh, I want to see the movie Predator with a goalie mask on a Predators goalie someday. Oh, you want the Predator on that? Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be sick. Predator is such a great movie. Predator 2 with Danny Glover and the bizarre bad guys that are not even the Predators. Weird movie. Predator 2 is so weird. Really? Vegas isn't the most hated team? I don't know. Brad Marchand. Man, PD is playing awful. Wow, Brad Marchand has joined the chat. Yeah, you know what? Pettersson has not really been a factor today. They put him with Mikheyev. I'm not sure why. But he's got to drive his own line. And if he can't, Pettersson's such a good player, you wonder, like, is he hurt? And he's getting bumped a lot. He's getting hit a lot. Like, not crazy ones, not like lay you out on the ice, can't get up kind of hits that like knock the wind out of you, but not fun. Not fun. Not fun. When's Jim coming to BT? You mean Jimmy T? Jim Treliving? I hope soon. At least got to start winning some games, though. Player 4, Danny Glover was my friend's foster dad in high school. He came to my house a whole bunch of times. Well, that's cool. Hopefully he's a nice guy. All right. Yeah, Preds fans cheering, and they should. They should. The Preds are, look at that. Every single time Vancouver tries to get something going, the Preds are like, no, we got it. Breaking this up. No, we got it. Breaking this up. It's boring, but it's working. It's the only way they're going to win. Like when Ryan O'Reilly signed, he got offered the same deal by Toronto and by Nashville. Signs in Nashville, and he couldn't even be sure that he were going to make the playoffs. And he might go to the second round now. Like they're tied 2-2 against the division leader. That's further than I guarantee you that's further than they thought they'd get. Banks Gravette, as a Preds fan, watching Seelovs has looked good. Canucks fans, if y'all win this series, just be ready for the Oilers or you guys are done for. How do we think it's a little too early to ask, but in your mind, how do you think this Predators team matches up against Connor McDavid? Can they do this to the Oilers? Can they do this to Draisaitl? Can they? I don't know. That's rough. Nucks need a real power play or need a real power forward. Yeah, like a Todd Bertuzzi type. You had like the ultimate power forward back in the day. Here we go. Good setup. Fourth line, Sam Lafferty almost putting it between the legs. You need more of that, though. It can't be your fourth line all the time, who are constantly pressuring. He probably should have been a little bit lower on the shot there, but can't complain about it. Offensive zone faceoff, you need the top lines to perform, and they're just not. Canucks need to take their time with the puck and be more conservative. Typically breaks any team's defense if you have enough talent on the team. Gino Million, you must not be watching the Leafs, who have loads of talent, take way too much time, and get busted up by the Bruins. The reason the Canucks are moving quickly is they're trying to catch the Predators before they get into position. They're trying to get them out of position. Now, Nashville's doing a great job of getting to position, but that's what they're trying to do. McDavid is too godly for such defenses of Nashville. Yes, Prophet. I agree. The Oilers, toe drag release. The Oilers keep tight formation and don't do long passes. Preds would have a tough time getting their sticks in the way of passes. J Money, Cody Ceci would destroy the Preds. The GOAT, you mean? The greatest defenseman of all time? They're going to name an award after that guy. Natalie Drake, human parked in front is exactly what is needed to beat Saros. Yeah. But tell them to do that then. The one thing so they switched up the first line, right? Because Patterson's not playing on it anymore as much. You put Suter in there, and I'm looking at the lineup now. I've got it up on Daily Faceoff. Could you not put... I don't know if he can skate with them, and I don't know if they tried this year. You'll have to tell me, Canucks fans. Dakota Joshua with JT Miller and Brock Besser. Because I don't think JT Miller and Brock Besser, with their shots, are going to go deep into the zone and be in front of the net. But Suter isn't either. Suter's a rush player, and he's really, really good. Can you get the size of Dakota Joshua and be like, okay, let's gain the zone. Dakota, you go right to the net, and you stay there until we leave the zone. That's your job. And you're going to take some pucks off the wrist every once in a while. It's going to hurt like hell, but trust me, it'll be worth it. You're going to get some tips. Ryan O'Reilly is the man when it comes to defensive zone faceoffs. Yeah, just won another one. Whoa! Almost passed it right into the goalie's pads there. Rona keeps it deep, gets it stolen, carrier out. Quinn Hughes will have to go back for it. Nobody turns a puck around faster than Quinn Hughes. That was a not great pass, but that's okay. Lindholm saves it. Roenick, Hughes. 5 minutes exactly to go, guys, if we're lining up our streams. Puck went out of play. Face-off just outside of the Nashville defensive zone. See, so that first replay they just showed, had the player... If Vancouver is releasing the puck faster, they're getting a lot better chances. They probably have another goal or two. It's not like when they do get shots, they're good shots. But it can't be, let me corral this and wait. It's got to be right away. Right away. It's got to be one-timer, maybe without the slap part. One-time snapper. Okay. Saros is locked in, according to Duncan Hume. Yeah, he looks pretty good, although he's... How locked in do you need to be when you're facing 16 shots? Every goalie in the league should win on 16 shots. And that's not to take away from UC, but it's ridiculous. The season is too long for EP4 and he needs Mark Stone treatment. Mark Stone was actually injured, guys. Nice try, though. Nice try. P24 Ray. I am boozled by how Ceci was a first-round offensive zone power play guy. Yeah. You got to remember when he was drafted, they were looking for different things. Are you big? Yes. Do you have a big slap shot? Yes. You're a first-round pick. That's not the way it is anymore. You've seen what first-round power play defensemen look like. There's one that's the captain of the Canucks right now. That's what a first-round top-end pick looks like now. And I'll be honest, the Ottawa team that drafted him, it's a weird one because they were looking for size, clearly. But they did a great job drafting in that era. They built a really good team. Eastern Conference finalists. Did a great job. They plucked Erik Karlsson out of obscurity. Yeah. Smolorexia. Who will end R1 with more goals? Hyman or the Leafs? Zach Hyman. Leafs can't score right now. Whoa! Seeloff. So there it is. Seeloff's again. Puck goes through him, but wide. Rookie goaltenders, guys. They're not used to the speed of these shots. The AHL to the NHL is so much of a jump. And we got a pulled goalie with 3 minutes to go. Here we go. This could be a fairy tale story for the Vancouver Canucks if they come back here, or this is a gritty, hard-fought win that you should be proud of for the Nashville Predators. We'll see which one it's going to be. Vancouver gains the zone. They have not been able to hold possession in that zone very much throughout this entire series. Now that they're up a man, it seems like it's going to be a little bit easier, but they cannot get cute here. They got to get shots in. They got a guy in front. There you go. There you go. You got a goal, Brock Besser. There you go. That's exactly what they needed to do. Now, it took 6 men to do it, but that is exactly what they needed to do. Wow. Maddie's telling me to check the super chat, but all I've seen is smellrexia. Smellrexia. Maybe there's another one coming. Man, that was a great goal. Perfect. Great setup. And look at that. There's 2-3 guys right there in with Saros. That's right. And Silovs loves it. Silov, sorry. They're gonna pull Shilovs in a second here. They gotta let the team rest a little bit. Let the big boys rest. Let them have a breather. That's why I'm kind of surprised Quinn Hughes is still on the ice, unless he's just gonna play the final few. Or you know what you do if you're the Canucks? Wait for the next whistle. Call a timeout. Get it to the offensive zone. That's what they need to do. Get it to the offensive zone. Get Saros to cover it. Yeah, Hughes is exhausted, but this is the playoffs. This is what you got to do. Goalie goes. Here we go. Big boys out there again. You just need that offensive zone face-off, and then you set up a play. But O'Reilly's got possession. Quinn Hughes gives it away. Ooh, baby. And it's off the post. It's off the post. Ryan O'Reilly almost had one. We got an icing. Yes, it was icing. It was. Damn. Woo! Quinn Hughes not making the best play there, but you know what? He's been pretty good for the Canucks all game, so we're not going to challenge him too much on that. Damn. Sissons almost had it. How very playoff that would go off the post. Oh. This game ain't over, guys. 1:45 left. I'm actually surprised the Canucks have not called a timeout here, but I guess they want to save it for when they're in the offensive zone, assuming they can gain that. Lindholm is on the ice taking the face-off with, it looks like, Besser and Pettersson. And the linesman just refuses to drop the puck. Lindholm's looking good. Get in there. Win that faceoff. That's a good faceoff win. Hronek does not get the carrier, gets the or is that Sissons? Sissons gets the possession. Okay, guys. Ryan O'Reilly turning it around. 1 minute, 24 seconds to go. Hronek, there goes the goalie. Hronek goes off the ice. All right, they're waiting for Nashville to get set up here. You probably wanted to play that off the rush, but then you don't want to force a play and then turn the puck over. And they're in. Pettersson, again, not moving his feet. I need him to move his feet. Miller to the point. All right, we got 51 seconds to go. Vancouver doesn't have time to wait and get set up now. Now they got to go. And that's a missed pass by Miller. Quinn Hughes, nice little power turn there. He's going to rush it in like Bobby Orr. Miller dumped it wide. Okay, you need to get that cycle game going, and you got to get set up. Do not get cute here, Vancouver. You need 2 to 3 shots before the end of this game. Let's go. Let's go. Do not get cute. Do not slow down. Pettersson, Good little wrist shot. Can't get tipped. Just missed. Okay, 15 seconds to go. Great move by Quinn Hughes. Pettersson at the point. Miller shot. It's on. Oh, my goodness. And it's a goal. We're going overtime, baby. What a score. Brock Besser. What? That was crazy. What a goal. No way, if you talked about this 3 minutes ago, did anybody think Vancouver had a hope in hell of tying this game up? Colton Sissons could have ended this game. Colton Sissons hit the post on an empty net, and with a rookie goaltender who played like 4 games for them, the Vancouver Canucks, with like maybe 18 shots at most, have beaten UC Soros for a third time. Unbelievable. Brock Besser, comeback player of the year, one of the candidates for sure. Wow. Yeah, that's great. Wow. All right, guys, we're sticking around for overtime then. Maddie, pull another clip. We're going to have an intermission here. Wow. Canucks fans, how we doing? Canucks fans, how are we effing doing? Andrew Brunette cannot believe it. Look at the look on his face. It's quiet in there. It's quiet in Bridgestone, baby. Wow. Oh, I love the playoffs so much. Yeah, there's going to be an intermission here, Maddie. Yes, it will be a full 15 minutes. Yeah, you can do, or do you have other clips? Maybe we can have somebody send some clips. Damn. Wow. Somebody just asked me, Adam, how many OT periods are you ready to go? Man, who knows? With this series, you know that Nashville is going to come out and be like, let's be boring. Let's be super duper boring. Look at the bench. Wow. Big win for Vancouver, or big win, big goal. Man, Besser. Oh, UC Soros saw the whole thing and it just pushed past his stick. Oh, that's pain. That's awesome. Canucks fans in attendance are thrilled. Nashville fans looking a little dejected and pissed off, and I don't blame them. Banks Gravette just super chatted. Most ass team ever. Holy crap, are we this bad? I don't know, guys. Like, listen, everybody's surprised that Nashville's in. They are. Nobody was expecting big things from this team. The fact that they were up 3-1 was a miracle in and of itself, and Vancouver finally cracked this defensive system that Nashville has had them in for the first 3 games. Nashville has played Vancouver perfectly. There is a gigantic talent gap here. These teams are very, very mismatched in terms of what they're able to accomplish skill-wise, goal-wise especially, but Nashville has a couple of things going for them. They got a great goaltender, and they've got great defensive players and a great defensive system that they play really, really well, and it's worked so far against the Vancouver Canucks until now. Damn, that was great. Yeah, dude, we got 1,300 people. Wow, we got 1,300 people in the chat here. That's crazy. All right, so Mad Dog and I are sticking around for a little bit here. John O'Killer, will it be a skill goal or a bounce game-winning goal? It's gonna be a bounce. Either way, Seeloff's is gonna be good. I think UC, as you saw, the only way to score on him is to crowd the net. I don't think any more pucks are going through the rookie goaltender now. I think he's jacked. I think he's pumped. His boys got it done for him. His boys, and he did great for them. But you think about it, as you're a goaltender, you're like, okay, I've let in 3 goals. I don't feel great about it. And the boys went out there in the last 3 minutes, and they score, and they got it done. You got to love that. You're going to come out and play hard for them. Yeah. And that was, by the way, that was a Besser hat trick. Man, talk about heart and soul. Heart and soul for Brock Besser. Like, I want to go through Brock Besser's stats a little bit here because I think this is important. Brock Besser. I got Hockey DB up, as one does. So Brock Besser, in his rookie year, I can remember he was one of the other guys people were talking about. Like Austin Matthews obviously had 40 goals, but Canucks fans were like, this guy might be better than Matthews. And as goofy as that sounds now, and it does sound a bit goofy, you got to remember that, like, people were thinking Patrick Laine was going to be maybe as good as Matthews, and Besser kind of surprised a lot of people. He's a 23rd overall pick. Doesn't mean that's not good, but we're talking about a first overall versus a 23rd overall. He had 30 goals, and that was as close as he got until this season. There was injuries in there. I think kind of the low points were, 2019, 2020, a lot of injuries. And 20 goals is not bad, but everybody was expecting more from Besser. 40 goals this year, and just 3 clutch goals tonight. The first goal to open the game, which is a beautiful tic-tac-toe feed, and then 2 just garbage, trash playoff goals. Now, I'm going to take a breather because we are going to go to overtime here. Canucks fans, listen, I want you to enjoy this because as good as you feel is as bad as how Leaf fans feel. We have a Steve Dangle clip. We played it a little bit earlier. We're going to play it again for you. I'm going to take a breather, and then we are coming back for OT1. Let's go, baby.
If Sheldon Keefe names Samsonov the starter for Game 5, you fire him. You fire him and do it yourself. Brendan Shanahan and Brad Treliving, they've been around the NHL for long enough that, oh, no, you're actually a crazy person. You're fired. And we'll try to coach the game ourselves. It couldn't go much worse than it's been going. You try to do it yourself. If he tries to name him the Game 5 starter, he's not going to unless Joseph Wylde gets hurt. Ilya Samsonov has played his final game in a Leaf uniform. It's done. It's over. Unless Joseph Wylde gets hurt in, next game, or the Leafs magically come back and they win this series. It wouldn't be the first time that the Boston Bruins blew a 3-1 series lead. If Joseph Wylde can carry the team later into the playoffs, deeper into the playoffs, this is still Ilya Samsonov's final game as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs, unless someone gets hurt. You can't go back to him. You pulled him for the third period. It's over. It's over. I was willing to see how it goes. He was really, really solid in, not the whole of Game 2, but the second and third period of Game 2. You need a save. You need a save. You need a save. He's a gem. He's a great guy. I think he'd be a great person to have on Facebook. I really do. I think he's a wonderful human being. You don't know what you're getting. Game in, game out. Period in, period out. Shot in, shot out. You need a save. Teams make mistakes. Teams blow it. Teams do that all the time. You need saves. The Leafs teams that so many of you watching this right now, growing up, had goalies who gave them saves. Go back and watch. I promise you, go back and watch Curtis Joseph with the Toronto Maple Leafs. You'll think that the Leafs were the worst defensive team in the entire world, and they might have been. That dude pulled off miracle after miracle after miracle. Ed Belfour, that guy stole games. Freddie Anderson, great to see him. Just great seeing him doing so well in Carolina. It just tickles me pink. That dude stole games for the Leafs and cost them games. Dude, you know who stole games for the Leafs? Stole games for the Leafs? Ilya Samsonov. Last year. He stole games for this team. He stole them. Go watch the highlights for Game 6 against Tampa. That game shouldn't have made it to overtime, let alone the Leafs took a lead into the third period. Tampa scored 1. The Leafs got lucky over and over and over again in overtime, and Tavares gets one that goes in off a skate! They won that by the skin of their teeth, but they won it! Gosh darn it, they won! It's not the same goalie. It's just not. You can't re-sign this person. I know that's an off-season discussion. You cannot re-sign this goalie. You have no idea who or what you're getting on a nightly basis. You can't do it. There are so many other goalies. You got to go after one of those guys. And even if they can't give you Sammy's high end, you got to keep them above the low. They have no shot to win these games. No shot to win these games. Steve, when are you going to talk about the now? Even though Sammy's not giving them the best goaltending, the power play is a big part of the discussion, but forget the power play. The power play was horrible in this game again, cost them the game again. They don't score ever. Forget the power play. Whoa, now, why are we picking on the power play? They don't score at all! From Jonas Siegel, and I'm going to read this in reverse order. Goals for the Leafs in their last 11 playoff games. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 3. Wow! 2 and 1. You know what's crazy about that? The Leafs went 7 straight games with only 2 goals in a playoff game. And over their next 4 games, that average dropped. Does toughness appear to be the problem for the Leafs this year? I don't think so. They're playing with snot. Unfortunately, the dude in charge of the snot is giving away pucks for the first goal of the game. Snot helping the team win. They can't score. They can't score. They can't score. Marner and Matthews arguing with each other on the bench. Then they show William Nylander on the bench. I don't know who he was talking to in this clip, but he said, "Stop crying, bro." And then he either said, "This isn't junior," or "Just shoot it." Marner throwing his gloves and getting roasted on national TV by Kelly Hrudey in Canada and on national TV in the United States by Paul Bissonnette. And then he pulls off the most ridiculous carnival act of a goal ever. It's incredible. It's his first to the playoffs, and the Leafs have life. And that lasted for what? Listen, I've spoken to Sheldon Keefe. I've actually spoken to Guy Boucher. I've spoken to a bunch of members of the Leafs coaching staff. I've had nothing but good interactions with them. They're lovely people. But I have a responsibility to everyone watching this right now to not BS them. Fire them. Fire them immediately. You can't go forward with anyone on the staff. I mean, maybe this assistant or that assistant. Head coach? And whoever's running the power play? Absolutely not. Chip it in. No one's attacking. Bruins collect it. Out. Chip it in. No one's attacking. Bruins collect it. Out. Dump it in. Bruins collect it because no one's attacking. Out. The amount of times, dump and chase? They just dump. And weirdly, that's what it looks like. Dump. There's no dump and chase in this lineup, just the old dump and wipe. With regard to the Leafs' effort, here's what I'm getting at from Sheldon after the game. This is just a miserable quote. Sheldon Keefe, on the level of frustration within the Maple Leafs, "I don't sense any frustration. Guys are pushing each other. Guys want to win." Keefe adds, "There was nothing wrong with our effort level tonight." Great, that's great. That means that they're trying really hard and they really want to win and it's all there. If those things are true, then they are a profoundly poorly coached hockey team. Talking about the Bruins, "Hey, that's a really good team," and the other, "Shut up! What? One series win! It's always a good team! It's the playoffs! It's a good team! What do you got? If they're winning because they have a good team, and you have a team who's trying, and they care, and they're getting their lunch fed to them anyway, what do you got? What do you have? Other than a deeply, bitterly hateable product. Are you serious? This from Morgan Riley. No one wants to hear this right now. Morgan Riley on whether the Leafs game plan needs to change. No. It's always come down to execution and work ethic. So wait though. It comes down to execution and work ethic. I thought you were trying. I thought you were working. I don't give a crap. No one gives a crap if you're working hard, but every night, every year, every series, you are the second hardest working team. No one cares. I know that you're "Oh, I got the passion for this." I know you take the ice wanting to win. And I know that you're grinding. The other team is better. They're better. Every time. They're better. Another banger from Sheldon Keefe. "You can question a lot of things. You can't question the effort." Yes, I super can, because this is a free country. And also, Morgan Riley just said it comes down to execution and effort. And you lost 3-1 on home ice in a game that put you down 3-1 in the series. And by the way, Austin Matthews didn't play the third period. Don't know what's wrong with him. They got 2 days off between game 4 and game 5. We'll see if he plays. And I'm seeing, this guy's not at 100%. And this guy is dude! Every year with this! How are you willing to believe that this is just the unluckiest team on the face of the planet, and not a team that deeply, bitterly at their core, at the tiniest ring of the tree that gives birth to the branches that housed these Leafs that we love so much. How do you not believe at the tiniest ring of that tree that they just can't do it? They just can't hang. So here's the thing. The series isn't over. Game 5, going back to Boston. Hopefully you win it. Then it's Game 6. You go back to Toronto. Hopefully you win it. And then it's Game 7 in Boston. You want a chance to exercise your demons. There you go, right there. I'm not willing to talk about the offseason right now, and Sheldon, and Brad, and Brendan, and all of that. I'm not willing to talk about any of that because there is still a series that they can win. The problem that I'm having is envisioning them winning it. How on earth do they win this series with anything that we have seen them do? The defense can't move the puck. They can't get out of their own zone. They can't move the puck. The forwards can't enter. And when they dump it, they don't go after it. They're on a line change or something. The Bruins are better at everything. Dude, we have talked about in the past, the last few years, certain coaches stuffing Sheldon Keefe into a locker. John Cooper did it a few times. Sheldon ended up getting the better of him. Paul Maurice did it in 5 games. Jim Montgomery, like, this is the worst one. This is the worst one. Dude, 3 minutes to go in a game. You got your 4th line on the ice, and you've evaporated like a quarter of the time remaining in the game. You got your 3rd pair and your 4th line out there. Screw your head on. Pay attention to friggin' hockey. What? Pay attention to what's going on.
All right, here we go. Are we still feeling good? Man, the chat just absolutely lit up when that Besser goal went in. 3 goals for him tonight. Absolute hero already. The Canucks, I think, didn't have a shot through the first 15 minutes of that period. And here we are. They're making it happen. The Canucks have a core 4 and they actually score. How about that? Now, what are we thinking? Are we thinking, how many OTs are we going here, guys? Mad Dog and I want to know. How many OTs are we going? It's live now? What's live? The game? Yeah, I know. I'm watching the game. Yeah, I know. Maddie's telling me the game's on. Yeah, I'm watching the game. I got the game. We're watching the game. I guess I didn't do my clap. I should have done the clap. Listen, how many OTs are we going, guys? How many OTs can we get out of this? How many OTs are the Nashville Predators going to make us suffer through? You know, I got to be honest with you guys. In like 40 shots over the last 2 games, UC Saros has let 6 goals in. Is it time to start talking about UC Saros being a problem in Nashville and trading him to the Leafs? You know, maybe it is. Here we go. Lindholm almost with a shot there. How quickly can we end this? There's some people saying 3 OTs. You guys are sick. 10 OTs. Stop it, Distant Storm. You stop that right now. Don't you put that evil on me. This is supposed to be an early start and an early end game. Garland out front. Scores! Lindholm with a big goal. Wow. Oh my God. The game is over. Steeloffs gets his first goal or his first win. Nashville is heartbroken. Canucks up 3-1 in the series. What a win. Unbelievable. No shots through 15 minutes in the 3rd period. And they somehow, on the 20th shot of the game, are able to get their 4th one past UC Saros. I was texting Steve and Drew and some of the other guys in the chat when we were on intermission break. And I was like, guys, this is going to like triple overtime. And Drew's like, nah, 45 seconds. Producer Drew, you were right. 45 seconds. Ian Cole keeps the puck in. Let's have a look at this replay. So Ian Cole keeps it deep again. Dakota Joshua to Garland to Lindholm. Nobody on him. The best line for the Nashville Predators was on the ice. And look at those Preds fans. Dejected. Luke Shen, Ryan McDonough. Both of them go deep on Garland. That's unacceptable. You've left your goalie out. Man, Canucks fans, you got to be pumped. I guess, you know what? No, I'm wrong about the defense. It was Ryan O'Reilly lost his man. Wow. Wow. Outstanding. Artur Shilov's, man, he had some really solid work tonight. A couple of them squeaked through, but he is going to remember this night for the rest of his life. Brock Besser is going to remember this for the rest of his life. Rogers Arena, if people are there again, because I know they were there the other night. Man, there's going to be some partying in Vancouver tonight. That's big. That's big. They almost traded Lindholm at the trade deadline. Lindholm got traded to Vancouver, and Vancouver almost retraded him because it wasn't working out. Big goal. Big goal, big win. Wow. Absolute heartbreak for the Nashville Predators. I feel bad for when the kids start crying. It's tough. It's tough to watch. Wow. Guys, this is sick. Okay, so what do we want to talk about? Connor O'Shea, that Lindholm trade looks a little better now, eh? Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Damn. All right. So I'm going to stick around for a couple minutes here because we got to just enjoy this. So tell me. There was no watch party at Rogers. That's too bad. That's usually they do them. Maybe something else was going on at the arena tonight. Okay, guys. So how are we feeling? As an Islanders fan, this is from Ryan McD29, not Ryan McDonough. As Islanders fans, the Preds just went full Isles. They kind of did, didn't they? Yeah. Hey, Adam, Oilers just called up Jack Campbell. Does that mean it's time to panic? LOL. Hey, let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks for now. Amazing Kook 143, $5 super chat, hype emoji. Absolutely, we're hyped. That was crazy. I'm actually still watching the feed right now. That is, Garland does such a good job of just quick shift. When you go back and you watch this on Twitter later, because somebody's going to have that, watch Garland. Just watch him, what he does in the corner. You're going to show it here on the stream. Dakota Joshua, most players would have swung it around. He just shifted his skates right at the last second, fooled Luke Schenn, put him on the wrong side of the puck. Schenn ideally would have stayed high, so between him and UC Saros, but I think Schenn overcommitted, thinking he's just going to throw this back around to the other point. And wow, what a play. Damn. Stephen McIntyre, that play changed my mood in an instant. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, there's two players right there that were almost traded by the Canucks this year. Connor Garland and the Vancouver Canucks were trying to find a trade for him somewhere in the NHL. That was earlier this year. That was in the fall. Connor Garland's agent, it was reported that on headlines with Frege that Connor Garland's agent was calling around other teams. Hey guys, do we got to trade for Connor? Do you have a role for him? And they couldn't find one. Then they go get Lindholm, and they pay a lot to get Lindholm from Calgary. And what happens? Doesn't go great. Maybe he's hurt. Maybe he doesn't fit in the system. And they almost retrade him at the trade deadline. And here he is with Connor Garland, two guys who might not have been here. Sometimes the best things that happen are nothing. Sometimes when you do nothing, it works out better. And boy, that was awesome. Now, we got to talk, I think, a little bit about Brock Besser and that hat trick. Brock Besser, who's had a lot of heartbreak and frankly, mixed playoff results. He was good in the last Canucks run and in the 2020 run, and you could be forgiven for forgetting that. But he had 4 goals in 17 games in the last run. He has 4 goals in 4 games, and 3 of them came tonight. That's amazing. And I think what a absolute boost. This is a guy that you expect to score for you all season long, and he's doing it. He's doing it. What's that like? As a Leaf fan, what's that like? What do you mean the guy who scored a bunch of goals for you is scoring goals for you? What's that like? How is it? Does it feel good? Do you feel good about that? Because I would love that. I would really give me some of that energy. Can you share? Could you send that east, please? The hockey guy is probably happy with his result. Well, I sure hope so. Vancouver Canucks, Canada's team. Brock Besser fake Brock Besser in the chat. Ha ha ha. I'd never play in Toronto. Duncan, Adam, what did you think of the goalie? I think he kept them in the game. I completely agree. I think Silovs, see, they're showing some of the highlights right now. There was a couple that got through, one that went wide, one that he was able to grab behind him, and then another one that actually went in the net. But I think other than that, he faced 30 shots. He allowed about as many shots or goals in as you would expect. I think he has like that puts him at like an even 900 save percentage. That's about what you expect. And especially from a rookie goaltender whose save percentage was not great in the NHL regular season this year, given he only played 4 games. But the playoffs are about one game. They're about the game that you're in. And that guy kept him in it. He was squared up on most shots. You really couldn't complain too much about the goals that he let in, besides the squeaker. But again, like not a guy that has a ton of experience at the NHL level. And for him to be able to pull that off, so impressed. So completely impressed. The Clutch Canucks, so hyped, so amazing. Mac Trivlin Sleep SLP. I don't know if you ever said that username out loud. Effort. It was effort. And that Colton, let's talk about this for a second. You ready? That Colton Sissons missed empty netter is potentially one of the most consequential of these playoffs so far. Colton Sissons tried from his backhand along the half boards, tried to get the puck into the empty net. It almost went. It didn't go in. It hit the post, and the rest is history. This game should have been over. We should never have gotten overtime. We should not be here. We shouldn't be celebrating right now. And yet here we are. You and me, hanging out, cheering on the Canucks. Eris Mix 23 teared up when they showed that kid crying. I was probably around his age when my Hawks lost to Detroit in the Western Conference Final in 2009. You never forget your first playoff heartbreak. I'll give you mine. When I really got into the Leafs, it like Doug Gilmour being traded was one. But my first true playoff heartbreak was when the Leafs went to the third round. They had played Philadelphia, and then I believe they played Pittsburgh, and they beat them both. And they were not supposed to be in either of those series. And then they went up against the Buffalo Sabres, and it's the Dominik Hasek Dominator Buffalo Sabres. And they still won 2 games against Hasek. And when they lost that 6th game, I can remember and my parents let me stay up late. It was a weeknight game, and my bedtime was like 8:30 or whatever. And they were like, no, you can stay up for this. And I just sobbed. I absolutely sobbed. I feel for that Nashville kid. You're at the game. I wasn't at the game. I was watching on my parents' big tube television. Remember those ones that were like thunk to turn them in and thunk to turn them off? It was like a wooden panel television too. It was like part of the furniture. Like, it had like storage shelves in it. It was an old TV. It weighed like 400 pounds. I got to say, like, I remember that heartbreak. That sucks. It's hard. That's really hard. Banks Gravette in the super chat. Canucks fans, y'all are winning this series. We suck. Banks Gravette is the biggest Predators fan who hates the Predators. He's been on them all night, even when they were up. Boy, that Colton Sissons thing. Water King Anonymous, what a choke. Truly, that was a choke job. And you know what's crazy is that you would never expect that from a Barry Trotz team. Barry Trotz teams are usually cool as a cucumber. We know what we have to do. We keep it simple. We play straight line hockey. You're not going to get a lot of shots against us. And the Canucks didn't get a lot of shots against them. And that's why I was thinking, I'm like, this has got to be going triple OT. The Preds are going to come out and play super boring and then wait for the Canucks to make a mistake. And the Canucks turn the tables on them. That was spectacular. That was so fun. Dave Glatz says Colton Sissons is dead to Preds fans now. Well, I hope not. He's been a warrior for the Preds for a long time. Dude, Adam, Colton Sissons is a Vancouver native too. You can't write this. I didn't know that. Adam, you're the only one who picked the Avs to win, but you barely talk about them on the podcast today. Why? Why did I barely? Well, first off, I don't want to brag too much just yet, but I am kind of thrilled with my pick on the Avs. I love the Winnipeg Jets. I think they're a really, really good team. Connor Hellebuck's played too much hockey this year. I'm convinced of it. Why are we barely talking about it? Because the Leafs are a huge story, and it's embarrassing, and we needed to, conduct group therapy. I didn't see. Hey Adam, I'm an Islanders and Preds fan. Two of the biggest meltdowns I've seen this year. I know, boy, you pick some teams. Adam, I just wanted to say I think your streams are awesome. You really interact with the chat. Well, thank you, Naiwo. Appreciate that. That's the whole point, isn't it? Us hanging out together, celebrating Vancouver. By the way, in a playoff bracket of places you want to live that you don't currently live, I would think that like your number 1 and 2 seed have to be Vancouver and Nashville, just as cities. Like, how could you, like, if money's no object, specifically talking to you, Vancouver, how could you not want to be in either of those cities? Like, this spectacular. Banks Gravette. Honestly, the Preds should just lose this series. As a Preds fan, I really want a good pick and a rebuild at this point. And oh yes, Sissons will be traded. Emilio O'Halloran, love the streams. Thank you, Amelia. Hashtag LOL Preds. That's from Polera. These SDPN streams are sweet. Love to watch. That's awesome. That's cool. I love that you love watching them. I didn't know how this was going to go because, like, there's been Canucks fans, you've been super welcoming. Preds fans, you've been super welcoming, even though I've been like super pro Canucks all series. I wasn't sure how people would react because you're like, well, you're not a fan of our team. You don't watch 82 games with us, And I get that. But no one seems to care. We're just having a good time together, which is nice. Google refuses to answer this question. Is it possible for the Canucks and the Leafs to play against each other for the Cup? Yep. Yeah, because they're in different conferences, Tim. So if the Leafs win 3 games in a row, as Jesse says, to win in 7, you have to have lost 3, and they have. Yeah, I don't know. I think it could happen. I don't think it's likely, but it could happen. Enjoyed the Vancouver playoff comeback from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Go figure. Thanks, Adam. You're welcome. I didn't do anything. I just sat here and was as surprised as you were. Dan or Can of Chunky, who was the last goalie for the Leafs drafted and developed into a good starter? We're not talking about the Leafs right now. We are talking about the Canucks. Adam, if it ends up being Canucks Oilers in round 2, who do you have winning? Who's playing goal for the Canucks? That's who I have winning. If Thatcher Demko is back and he's healthy, I think the Canucks have a better than most people would give them chance to win. And the reason I say that is they're going to be able to take advantage of Vancouver's defense, which is Vancouver's defense. Holy moly. You can tell I've been talking for 3 hours. They're going to be able to take care of or take advantage of the Oilers defense. Now, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Zach Hyman, 50 goals. But I do think on the whole, if Thatcher Demko is the guy backstopping you, you can manage that problem. It's not a problem you can solve. Sometimes you just got to manage it. That's what I think. And the Canucks are 1 win away, guys. 1 win away from the second round. Something they haven't done since 2020. Something that the Canucks, when was the last time? Vancouver? I'm just going to look at the Canucks. So let's look this up. Because I know the last time they were in the playoffs, they lost in the first round to Calgary. Like the last time you could actually have people in seats, right? And that had followed, I think, a couple of first round dumps that they were not thrilled about after the 2011 Stanley Cup. And so I'm just looking it up right now because my brain does not allow me to look back that far. We're going back to, 14-15, they lost to the Flames in the first round. 13-14, they didn't qualify, and they lost in the quarters to the Sharks 0-4 in 2012, 2013. And they lost in the quarters, again, first round, Kings 4-1 in 2011, 2012. And I remember that was a huge upset because I think, the Kings were like the 7th or 8th seed and the Canucks were the 1st seed, and they lost. They had a crazy year that year, 111 points. And then before that, so, okay, allowing for the fact that the Canucks did make it into the second round in 2020, which they did, no question. But the last time you would have been able to see the Canucks in a round that was not the first round. The last time you were able to see in person a Canucks second round or later game was the year they went to the finals. Imagine that. Because that team was so good. Imagine I told you that. Imagine right after the Stanley Cup final ends, you're heartbroken. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make it worse. Here's your wound. Here's some salt. I'm going to rub it. By the way, you're not going to see a second round again in person until 15 years from now, 14 years, 13, lucky number 13. It's a lot. It's a long time. Good for the Canucks. Good for the Canucks. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a damn. Quinn Hughes took a lot of abuse today, but that's heart and soul right there. You gotta shout that guy out. That's a real winner you have right there. That was a hell of a playoff performance from Quinn Hughes. Nashville went hard at him, and he crushed it. That's incredible. Incredible. Wow. Guys, so listen, I'm going to let Mad Dog get home. I'm going to let Justin and Robert have their nights, but I want to thank them for running this stream, and I want to thank you for being on it. It's so cool to have you here. We're having a great time, so I will see you for the next game, and I think that we're going to have some interesting conversations because the next game is Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And you know what happens before Tuesday at 10 o'clock? That's right. The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. So you might see a very dejected me on the, or maybe a very excited me on the stream. Either way, I'm going to need you to help me, help me lift up. I can't even speak anymore. So listen, we're going to wrap the stream. Mad Dog, let's get ready, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay. Love you all. See you next time.